This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that, I gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them, they like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do, they play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden, she's the girl right here. She's a badass, that's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go, so you getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Attention all property managers, condo associations, and homeowners. Get ready for the event of the year, South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA Expo. And guess who will be there? Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions, bringing their expertise right to you. Visit our arbor display booth and don't miss the chance to witness our skilled team demonstrating proper tree trimming techniques using our state-of-the-art electric saws. Wow. We know the importance of maintaining healthy and beautiful trees, and our experts will be able to answer all your questions and provide valuable tips. So mark your calendars for December 7th from 10 to 4 at the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale. Come meet the Cutter's Edge team and discover how we can elevate your property's curb appeal. Come look for Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions at South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA Expo, December 7th. More info at cuttersedgepro.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, one and all. Hope you all are doing well. Yes, sir. Light it up. Yeah. Give us a victory cigar for Bitcoin. Yeah. I love it. There we go. There we go. We got that poll question out already for you. Okay. Got some votes right there. Bitcoin right now is at $44,000 here at the 8 a.m. hour. We're now at 10 a.m. Let me see. We're still at, we're just a little over 44 if I'm correct. Yes, 44,063. So, are we going to 45 today? Are we going to 46? You know, yesterday we went from 41 something, like 41.8 to 44. So basically almost 42 to 44. You know what I mean? So are we going to 45 today? Are we going to 46? Does it settle in at 44? And then, of course, we always get the negatives. That's always the section that wins. And it's always the one that's wrong. So is it going to go down to 43? You know, will it come back a little bit? Although I am wondering if there's going to be a little bit of just not much, you know, but 2, 3, 4,000 down just because some whales sold because they're making a lot of money, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, those of you that have held on, congratulations. Those of you that bought the dip all the way down, you are so in the green now, it's not even funny. Okay? It is hilarious that I am getting a whole bunch of stuff from you guys now. Hey, should I get in now? And should I? It's like, okay. Some guy goes, so do you think I should buy now? Do you still believe in it? I go, well, I believed in it when it was at 16,000. How am I not going to believe in it now? You know? So, yeah, of course, you know, I just wish you guys would have listened to me earlier. And I try to guide you guys. I try to do my best to lead you guys through some of this ugliness of this world. Sports, politics, financing. I try to weed all of that stuff out, you know, and try to stay objective for you guys. And, you know, I tell you all the time. Anyway, what can I say? It's just funny. Do I believe in the asset? I'm like, yeah, dude, if I believed in it when it was at 16,000, when everybody was saying, you know, when all the people that don't know anything, oh, see, it's fake, it's this, that, whatever, and they didn't understand it. Anyway, right now, 43% is 46,000, 45%, 45,000 is 32%. Settling in at 44 is 19, and down to 43 is 6%. Here we have more logical people because they've been on the show. You know what I mean? The people that are on Twitter aren't necessarily always listening to us. And one of the things that I've noticed also in our show, unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people just listen to the segments that Sean puts out, the interviews, and they don't really listen to the stuff inside. And they miss a lot of the breaking news, the insight. That's what they end up missing, actually, because that's usually what we drop insight and stuff like that in between. We don't do it really in their interviews. You know what I mean? I didn't talk about why Shaq Leonard wasn't here in Miami in any of the interviews yesterday. You had to listen to the segments, and then you would hear some of the Dolphin nuggets that I dropped yesterday. So it's just one of those things that a lot of people end up missing. A lot of stuff that goes on in the show might be crypto talk, might be whatever, and they end up missing it because they just listen to segments, and that kind of kills it for you if you don't end up picking up on a lot of shit sometimes that we do say. What else do we have? Oh, one more thing on the crypto side. Bitcoin Core was updated the 26.0, and I already got a DM this morning. Somebody was concerned if this is like an updated Bitcoin or no, it's not. What it is, it's a blockchain off of the Bitcoin network that they use for transactions. So the idea is that they constantly upgrade it so they can have faster transactions on the network, because Bitcoin is not just about Bitcoin being the store value and as a form of money and those kind of things. It has ordinals, it has transactions on it. The Lightning Network is, you know, all over. There's I think it's like over 60 countries now. I think that Mallers has the Lightning Network in about 60 something countries now, and that's the stuff that's used for transactions to buy a coffee or a car, you know what I mean? And you use a Lightning Network for that, and that way it goes by quickly. Because if you notice,
if you move your Bitcoin when you buy it on an exchange at Binance or Crypto.com or Kraken or wherever you buy your Bitcoin, and then you move it to your cold storage wallet, it takes a little while, right? It takes a few minutes. Doesn't move over right away. And so it's usually a little slower. But you can't do that for transactions, because then how can it become money? People can't be waiting 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a transaction. So the Lightning Network was created so that way you can make lightning fast payments on it. And so if you go to Starbucks or wherever and they're accepting Bitcoin, you'll use the Lightning Network. And that's part of the blockchains on the Bitcoin network. These are things that those of you that are getting into it, you're going to learn, you're going to understand. This will all become second nature to you. 10 years from now, you're going to laugh and you're going to go, dude, you remember when we were listening to talk all that shit about crypto and this, that, and all that? And then, 10 years from now, you're going to laugh because it's going to be second nature to you. And using a DeFi platform is not going to be anything new to you. And paying something with Bitcoin on your phone is not going to be anything new to you, because you would have already done it a whole bunch of times. And it's all coming, but it's, I keep telling you about this for the last 3 years. And I know it sounds like I'm a crazy man, right? But eventually I will sound so sane that you're going to go, shit. I already got some of that, by the way. I'm already getting the people in the DMs telling me I should have listened to you. I should have been putting money into Bitcoin a year ago. You kept telling me, and I kept thinking that you were full of shit. One guy said, I thought you were full of shit. Yes. And whatever, man, it's all good. It's all good. It happens. It's like, it's the Wright brothers. There's no way they'll fly. It's Benjamin with the key and the electricity, and there's no way that can exist, and all this kind of stuff that we thought, flying to the moon, and who would need the internet. I remember people saying the internet is silly and email is ridiculous. Why would you need email? And that's all we do when we wake up. We go check our email. You know what I mean? It's just, this is just part of all of those things that have happened throughout life. And, you're in a horse and buggy and you're going to create a car. Sure you are. You know what I mean? And this is the same thing, that you're flying to the moon. Come on, it's all the same. It's all the same. Listen, man, I know people, believe it or not, okay? I know a dude that still thinks we've never been to space and thinks it's all movies and TVs. And it's like, okay, so you think Amazon and Tesla and Russia and China and everybody else is going to space, they're all in on it. They're all... you'll find all kinds in this world, dude. You'll find the level of craziness, because that doesn't, that when somebody tells me that, I almost think you're not stupid. You've got to be crazy, right? At this point, you've got to be crazy to tell me something like that, and I'm not joking. Okay. Seriously, not joking. I've had somebody tell me that, and that's the kind of shit that you're like, wow. Okay, whatever. Let's see, what else do we have here? Steve Chapman, Jamie Zorria. I can't see. The poll is in the way of the who's number one on it there. There we go. There we go. Great White. Oh, Willie, number one. Nice job by you, Willie. There you go. Steve Chapman is in the house. I almost had a heart attack when Tua broke the snow globe and tried to pick up the broken glass with his left hand. Jamie Zorria, good morning, Big O. Sean, Fins Nation. He is in San Jose. It's hump day. I hope everybody's having a great week. Remember to smash the like button. That's right. Gordon Shumway, One-Eyed Jack. The feature on Gink and his family last night. His episode was awesome. Yeah. The wives always stand out for me, man, because they're the rocks. They're the ones that keep us going. Without them, we're screwed, dude. Sneak Attack 305. Finns are in first place in the AFC Conference, December 1st. In a long time, this isn't a goal, but a nice achievement on the path to the Super Bowl. Bitcoin to the moon. There we go, sneak attack. Alexis Palenzuela, Gus 1388, Nyborg, Giovanni, Jonathan Moore, Angelo De Jesus from sunny Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's up, Angelo? Horn Dog, Bradley Maddox is off from work and in early from Texas. Looking forward to the show. Dolphin fans since the 70s. Let's get that third trophy this year. We will. John Padilla and Bradley, I hope you're in Vegas with us celebrating. Ray Sosa, Sharon Calderon, which is Jeff from Long Island. For another great Hard Knocks, and rest in peace, Norman Lear. I normally do entertainment somewhere in the middle, later part of the show. But now you mentioned writer and director Norman Lear passed away at the age of 101, which kudos, man. You make it to 101, that's some stuff, man. This man, I'm going to name just some of his credits, okay? All in the Family, Maude, Fried Green Tomatoes, Good Times, One Day at a Time, The Jeffersons, Facts of Life, Silver Spoons, and many more, okay? This was a monster, a legend, a super talent, a guy that pushed envelopes that nobody would push. Because if you watched, Good Times, All in the Family, and The Jeffersons, that was pushing some envelopes. And that was the kind of comedy that you can't handle nowadays, actually. By the way, that's the beauty of the way us older folks, how we actually grew up. We grew up with a way that we could laugh at ourselves. And our stereotypes, which every group has their own stereotypes, whether you want to admit it or not or whatever, but we could laugh at our own stereotypes too and not get so insulted and bent out of shape and all that stuff. And it doesn't seem like we can do that as much anymore. And so I want to embrace a man like Norman Lear because I want to be able to embrace the fact that I was able to grow up that way. And that my skin is as thick as it gets and it doesn't really matter. And I want to thank Norman Lear for that because he's part of the reason why maybe our generation was a little tougher than what goes on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And then his greatness, the amount of laughter that you got from all those shows. We can't say enough about it. Norman Lear, if you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, was a major part of your life. It's like John Hughes movies in the 80s. It's just one of those. There are certain people, certain directors, certain producers that get on a roll and they make, a Tarantino. There are a lot of people that connect with Tarantino movies, and it's just one of those things. And Norman Lear was one of those kind of guys that just was able to capture, the imagination, capture the entertainment value of the country, and just a monster, an absolute monster. Rest in peace, Norman Lear, because you, sir, will be missed, and you are one of a kind. Okay. One of a kind, just like a Scorsese, it's a one of a kind type of person that brought us some monster entertainment. So thank you for bringing it up, Norman Lear and Denny Lane. Speaking of that, I have it here also. Denny Lane passed away at 79. He was one of the originators of the Moody Blues and started Wings with Paul McCartney. And he passed away of intestinal lung disease, unfortunately, at the age of 79. I personally, I'm a huge Moody Blues fan. And it's funny because there's a Knights in White Satin now is like a huge song now in one of the commercials. And, I forgot the name of the kid that's in it and the perfume and all that stuff. And I'm sure young people are like, like, what's that song? That's how they get into the greatness of the music of the past. They got to hear it in a movie or in a commercial or something like that. But Denny Lane, obviously, I'm a huge Wings fan. I know that there's a group of Beatles fans that kind of think that Paul McCartney sold out on them by creating Wings and, making that music, which might have been a little bit more poppy, but to me, it's not that much of a difference from what was created for the Beatles. And it was great. I love Paul McCartney and Wings era. I'm a huge Paul McCartney fan, period. Solo, Wings, Beatles, doesn't matter. George Harrison solo, John Lennon solo, anything and everything Beatles and everything around it. I just gravitate to it. I love it all, to be quite honest. And Wings is something that, in fact, I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but a couple weeks back, I got on YouTube, which I love doing on weekends. And if I'm not going to a concert, I'm watching a concert. And I actually sat down and watched an entire, Wings concert, and it was phenomenal, dude. It was a phenomenal show. It was one of those where I was sitting there going, son of a bitch, God, I wish I was there. I would love to have seen Paul McCartney and Wings once, live. It would have been so cool to see that band. So saw the news, and thank you for bringing it up, Jeff. I had some notes there with it from Denny Lane passing away at the age of 79. So Norman Lear, Denny Lane. Oh, man, we're at that time in our lives where a lot of the people that we grew up with, we are losing, unfortunately. Cash the Jeweler is in. Ray Sosa is in. Mini Sports Equinox in South Florida tonight. Yes, we have, let's see, the Heat and the Raptors, Long Island and UM, and Panthers and Dallas. Yep, got a lot of action today, which is a lot of fun. Skylar Tipton is in from Chicago. Thank you, sir. P. Crown Vic, Nico Jones. Yeah, the Hard Knocks episode, I told you guys, I went out on a limb a little bit, obviously, because we had so many of you so worried about the Hard Knocks from last time. I told you this Hard Knocks was going to be awesome for the Dolphins. And that's exactly, every time I watch it, I'm like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's all. Players around the league and agents around the league are going to go, yeah, that's a good place to go. Yeah, I can send my player there. I'm going to talk to my player. He's going to be a free agent. They may need this. He could battle for that with that guy for this. That's what agents do in their minds. And players are going to go, I'm up for free agency. I'm up for free agency next year. That guy, I want to play for that guy. I want to play in that organization. So it's the best PR machine that you could ever ask for the Miami Dolphins. You look at the shit that's going on with the Bills. You see what's going on with the Jets now and Robert Saleh, and we'll get into that. I mean, you watch the dysfunction that's going on at the Patriots, and we have zero. And you could put the Dolphins on display. In fact, we have such zero that we are now on the positive end of it. Now we are the example. Okay? Of how not to do it. No. Of how to do it. Because we were the example of how not to do it last time. This time we're the example of how to do it. I knew it. I knew that we were going to excel and star in this thing. And one of the things we've talked about on this show with some of the insiders, and I mentioned it, the leadership on this team is sick. The front office did a marvelous job of bringing in good character people all over the damn place. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Tehran or you're talking about Van Ginkel. What doesn't matter, dude. Waddle, Tua, you name it. Just really good character people overall. And they want to win. And it starts with McDaniel. It starts with Chris Greer. Those are two character men. Marvin Allen is a good man. Reggie McKenzie. All these people up top. Tom Garfinkel is as classy as it gets. It's just top to bottom. I love it. Love it. Love it. Put us on Hardknocks next year, too, if you want. Not that they want it, but, you know, that's fine with us. They'll be knocking on their door. Let's bring it full circle. The Hardknocks NFL is going to be knocking on the door. They're going to be ringing the bell. Do me a favor. Open the door and let us in. We want to do it again. That's Paul McCartney and Wings, by the way, folks. Okay. Just in case for you youngins, you're like, what the hell is he doing? You know, older people are going, gotcha. But younger people are like, hey, I don't know what the hell he's doing, you know. Oh, man. Let's see. Nico Jones. Yes, they are. You know, I tweeted out Nico yesterday. So Dolphins win on Mondays, on Thursdays, on Fridays, on Sundays, and Dolphin fans win also on Tuesdays. So you get to see your team win twice a week. Next week, it'll be Monday and Tuesday. You get to watch your Miami Dolphins win. This past week, it was Friday and Tuesday. You saw your Miami Dolphins win. I mean, you know, we get 2 wins a week. The rest of the league can only get 1. That's the max for the rest of the league. For the Miami Dolphins, we get 2 wins a week. That's the way I look at it. It's like I told you guys this before it started. You want to give me more Dolphins? Bring it on, bro. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. I can do it all day long. It's always been my favorite subject to talk about. Good or bad. Okay? It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Alexis Palenzuela. Glad I got it. Thanks for mentioning Casey Crypto. Yes, she's very good. She's very smart, man. And Lena Petrova. You may want she's not directly talking about crypto. She is talking about the financial world, period. And it could be our country, it could be about our economy, and it could be internationally too. But it's incredibly important if you're going to invest, and I don't care if it's the stock market or if you're in crypto, you need to know what's going on financially all over the world, because one way or another, it might affect some of your investments. So it's really important. You know, once I got into Bitcoin, like I wasn't really into politics at all. If you listen to my show for a long time, I never really included politics in it, right? But when I got into Bitcoin 3 years ago, I realized that I have to know everything that's going on with all these stupid political parties, you know, and then because it helps you understand who's in power and who's going to help you and who's not, actually, you know, all those kind of things. And you got to know who is positive for oil or positive for gold or positive for Bitcoin or who's not, or who's against this, who's for that. These are all these things you have to, and it's boring. I get it. But I had no choice. So that's why you'll hear more of that slant from me nowadays, because all I care about is my money. All I care about is your money. I don't give a shit about Democrats or Republicans or MAGAs or anything. I care about money, bro. How are you going to affect your life and my life? That's all I care about. And if you're affecting it too much one way or the other, you know, I gotta combat it. You know what I mean? And so that's why. But you gotta have information. That's the key to all of this. Troy Ortiz, Fluff 66, Joseph, Steven Gonzalez. I heard there's going to be a dip under 20,000 for just 5 minutes. Try to get in. Yeah, that's not. Whoever told you that is a lie, and don't even listen to that. There's no such thing as timing bottoms, timing tops. I keep telling you that. You DCA down, you DCA up. Dollar cost average. DCAing is the best way. Nobody's smart enough to time the bottom or the top. You could get lucky and catch it, but it ain't going to 20 anymore. That's just anybody that tells you that, Steven, they don't know anything that's going on. When it was at 25, I told you it wasn't going back down to 20. When it was at 30, I told you it wasn't going back down to 20. Okay? It's at 44, and it will not go past 38, 39, 37 and a half. I think, if anything, there's that kind of a dip to 4,000 or 5,000 because a couple of whales that, bought at 16, 20, 25 and now want to sell at 44, they're making a shitload of money because they bought, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million of Bitcoin. They do the things that you and I could never do. And so their profit is so good that I can see them taking off some profit. And then it fluctuates a little bit. But down to 20, the institutional money is now in, Stephen. Okay? Trust me, I know more about this than most of the idiots that are writing about all this stuff, because most of the writers that are writing about crypto on all these magazines and all this, they don't invest, they don't know. So they're kind of just throwing darts. And if you don't have your money involved in it, and you're not following it day by day and knowing what the hell's going on, you can't write about it. You can't write about it. I'm sorry. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday that had not gotten into it, and he wants to get into it. And I explained to him, and I showed him my portfolio, and I said, look, man, this is my money that's in it. So you'll know. So I'm not talking shit. So, I'm not telling you to put your money where I wouldn't put my money. And that's where, a writer can write anything they want and say whatever they want because they have no money in it. They have no risk. They don't care, and they don't know. And if they're wrong, you know how it is in today's media, dude. You're wrong. It doesn't really matter anymore. So, anyway, previous high was 68K, Travis. Let's see. Dougie Fresh in. Bill's fake crowd noise. Never have so few had so much to tell, but could say so little. There you go. Jack Sultan. Travis AM, another great Hardknocks. You could tell they were confident they were going to smoke the Commanders. Of course, they should. But you got to go out and do it. Denard Joseph, JS 11115. I know someone who bought Bitcoin around 2016. There you go. Zuko, I own no crypto. I'll be dead before money isn't used anymore. What are checks and credit cards and all kinds of stuff now, and bank cards? You do know that cash is already being phased out, right? You do know you're practically digital already, right? Real world use separates the good crypto from the chaff. You know it. Brian Landis, Stephen Harris, Jay Gelfin. Lost a great man of influence in Norman Lear this morning. Amen. Amen. Living room account is in. Resolute Graphics. Earl Campbell, Big O. Earl turned in the Exuma K's. Don't know what that means, sir. Chad is in. Brian Landis. Yes, the earth is flat. Frankie Fresco, James Vivinetti, Brandon Flood, Michael Lehman. Oh, yeah, Gink's HBO profiles names, Huge Wang. Yeah. Remember, you notice how it said that wasn't our account? Okay. That's not their account. You know what that is, right? The Van Ginkels didn't have an account. So that was a producer or somebody from HBO that had an account. And then you know how when you go to a hotel nowadays, or you go to an Airbnb and you go on the TV, you have to then, like, I have my YouTube TV, right? So I have to now log in my YouTube account so I can watch my YouTube TV off of that. So I have my subscriptions and all that. And then before you leave, you sign it out, right? It's the same thing. You could tell the Van Ginkels didn't have an account. They weren't paying for one. They didn't care about paying for HBO. They're probably a lot like what's from the quarterback thing? Oh God, what's his name? The guy that dresses Plain Jane from the quarterback show. That got hurt in Minnesota. What's his name, Sean? Come on. The quarterback that got hurt in Minnesota.
Your cousin.
Show last year. What's his name? How am I forgetting this?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins. That's it. Maybe the Van Ginkels are like Kirk Cousins, like the Cousins. They're frugal. They don't go spending and they don't care about this or that. Maybe that's how the Van Ginkels are. They didn't care about having HBO. You know what I mean? That's the when they both like, oh, that's not our account. You know what I mean? You could tell that was somebody else that had to have it in order to use it for the show. So just to kind of walk you through the way I interpreted what it was. And if you know Van Ginkel, which you know, he's like so quiet in him and look at his family and all that. You could tell that those are the people that probably don't spend their time watching a lot of crazy television or anything like that, you know? So it's, but it was funny. It was funny. It was hilarious. Let's see what else. Tua's going to have a big December. Yes, sir. The team's going to have a big December. There was a nice little theme going on the show there where the coach was talking about how pissed Tua was during the week. And I'm so glad, because it's a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the show. It's pretty cool when I was watching this, because what was our theme the last couple of weeks? Tua's turning over the ball way too much. Okay. I may be the biggest Tua supporter there is in the media, but I am going to be 100% objective about him, you know? And listen, it's a great example. The injuries. While 98% of the world in the media is like, oh, should he play the game again? Oh, he can't last, all this, that. What were we saying on the show? Go ahead and rewind. Tua can play for 15 years. Tua's problem is he holds on to the ball. He just has to get rid of it. He has to throw it on the floor. He has to throw it out of bounds. When the play is dead, kill it. Do not try to extend anything. Everybody was taking the doom and gloom, and I was saying, no, dude, no, that has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Tua has to play the game the right way, the smart way. What's he doing now? The rest of the media was all on that, all bullshit. Just sensationalism crap. Oh, he can't stay healthy. Oh, he'll never stay healthy. All this, that, whatever. No, dude, the problem is not that he can't stay healthy. The problem is that he refuses to play the game the right way. So a guy like him and Breeze and Greasy and Brady and Manning, guys that can't move, guys that aren't super athletes, they can play forever, but they have to understand they have a way they have to play. Get rid of the ball. And guess what he's doing? Same thing. So now, same thing here. As much as I love Tua, my complaint the last couple of weeks was, you got to take care of the football. Enough of this shit already. Too many fumbles and too many interceptions. Although the interceptions, if you listen to the pregame show, there's a nice, I think Sean made it a segment too, actually. There's a segment on it there on YouTube. I broke down the reason why the interceptions are happening and all that. And I think I gave you a more realistic where you can calm it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But again, he went out this week and the coach was talking about it on Hardknocks, that he was pissed and focused. And that's what you love about Tua. He's coachable. McDaniel says it all the time, and you see it all the time. So Tua, you need to do this. Okay, let me go work out. Let me strengthen my body. Let me go do jujitsu. Let me get rid of the football. Problem solved. You go back to the stupid habits, he'll go back to getting injured. Now he notices he's being a little too loosey-goosey with the ball, and now he's pissed at himself for that. Not pointing any fingers, not making any excuses. Laser focus. Love it. Love it. That's why I love everything about this kid. That's why I know he's a star. I've always known he's a star. It's just a matter of there's a couple of things. You've got to figure out how to play at this level because you're a timing quarterback, just like Breeze and Greasy and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. You can't live off of a Cam Newton, cannon. You don't have that. Those kind of guys, they don't have cannons. So they have to have anticipatory skills and all that. So you have to adjust to the game. The game is at one speed, your arm's at another. You have to learn how to then play a little ahead. Your mind, you're foreseeing things more than the average quarterback. Herbert can't foresee. He doesn't do those things. Josh Allen can't foresee. They have to throw after the break is done, when the guy is open. They don't anticipate the guy being open. That's what Breeze and Greasy do. That's what Joe Montana does. That's what Tua has to do. It's a different way. So you have to adjust to things. And that's why I explained that to you guys too, that these kind of quarterbacks, there's an adjustment. Dude, for Breeze, it took 4 years. It took him 4 years. In year 4 is when the light finally went on for Drew Brees. That's when they ended up drafting Phillip Rivers. But that's when the light went on for Drew Brees, and he figured out his timing and the game speed. But these are things that a lot of people in the media and a lot of fans, they don't understand the quarterback position. They blah, 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 and they talk a lot, and they write a lot of bullshit, and then you got idiots like that guy that, Tua pass was terrible. And Tyreek, and then Tyreek had to go correct him because Tyreek himself had to be corrected. Because Tyreek is not a quarterback. Tua is. And you saw it on Hardknocks, where he didn't understand that he was the one that was wrong. See, Tua he's an elite conductor. Okay? He understands what he has to do and where he has to throw to more than everybody else on the field. That's not always the case with young quarterbacks. But he's mentally ahead of everybody, even a player like Tyreek that's been in the league for 8 years and played with Pat Mahomes. But these are the things that nobody will talk about because it's not sexy to talk positive. It's not sexy to talk about arm throwing adjustments from one type of player to another because that's reasoning, but it's boring. It's better to say he plays too much golf and he's too short. He doesn't have a strong arm and can't run a powerful offense and will never stay healthy and is always injured. But they don't take the time to actually understand the position and understand the responsibilities and what they're supposed to do. And so if you don't take that into account, you're going to run your mouth off and you're going to say a whole bunch of stupid shit like what's been said about Tua over and over and over again. Stupid shit. And they all have egg on their faces and they all look like freaking morons. And they're all backtracking now and they're all hopping now, now they're trying to hop on the bandwagon. And we told you a couple of years ago, they're not allowed on the bandwagon. None of them. Okay? None of them. Too late. You didn't understand the position. You didn't understand the player. I don't have time for you, bro. Don't have time for you. You don't get on the bandwagon. Okay? Once you're booted out, you don't get on the bandwagon. You done. Waffling, that don't fly here, bro. No waffling. No, oh, I was in, then I was out, and now I'm in. Oh, well, that's just because you didn't understand what was going on. Anyway, NorCal says good morning to the biggest Finn fans in the world. Big O show chatters are the best. Puff, puff, give. Fins for life. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Big O, from the time being a Dolphin fan, they've always boosted your interest. Then a 3 to 5 game skid. What should we do to avoid unwanted losing streaks? Become a good team, have a good coach, have a great front office, have a great quarterback. Oh, we have that now. Okay, we're good. How about having no injuries? How about less injuries? How about not having your entire secondary wiped out? How about having a defensive coordinator that's a freaking stud? You know, all those kind of things will help, my man. There's a reason why there were skids. There's a reason why you didn't get it over the top, because you didn't have the quarterback, you didn't have the coach, you didn't have the front office, you didn't have the offensive line, you didn't have the running game, you didn't have the defense. There's plenty of reasons. See, Earl, the worst thing you do, listen to me now, okay? Listen to me. The worst thing you do is compare this team to any of the swill that was here the last 30 years. Are we good on that? Do we understand? Are we clear? Okay? Don't compare anything that was ever done after Shula to what's going on right now. None of the Marino teams with Jimmy Johnson don't even come close to this team. Nothing that went on with Zach and Jason comes close to this team. And that's the problem that many of you have. You keep comparing incomplete, inadequate, dysfunctional teams to this. And that's your problem. You had your bad stuff go on only because you didn't have the pieces. You've never had the quarterback. You only had like the back end of Marino. And by the way, by the end of Marino, he wasn't even himself anymore with the bone spurs in his arm. And Ted Johnson reading his inadequate offense that Jimmy Johnson installed. Because, you know, Jimmy Johnson had a fourth grade offense. So Ted Johnson knew all the hand signals and everything. Hey, slant's coming. And fucking embarrassing, dude. You know, I'm so, it gets me every time, doesn't it? Every time. Jimmy Johnson gets me every time because so many of you are so freaking ignorant to how mediocre he was here. Okay? How dysfunctional he was here. And then he left us, Dave Wanstead, which then just ruined the only thing that he did good, which was at least bring those defensive players. So overrated, it's just beyond me, dude. It's just really, it's just one of those things like he only should get praise for Dallas. That's it, dude. That's the only thing he should get praise for. Nothing else. Not even the University of Miami. Not even that, dude. Not even that. He underachieved there too. He screwed what he built there too. You know, but it's just one of those where don't compare, please, anymore. Stop it already. Stop it. There's no comparison to anything that's gone on here in the last 30 years to this team right now. Nothing at all. This is the most complete. This team is more complete than the early 90s teams. They just need to go out and prove it. But I believe this team would kick the 90s team's ass. Okay? We clear on that? So stop comparing teams. This is way better. You got to go to the 80s. You're going to have to go to the 80s in order to start. And then really it's 70s because you have to throw in the front office. Once you throw in the front office, nothing in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s comes close to this front office. Don Shula was terrible in the 80s and 90s in the front office. Absolutely terrible. It's all the Miami Heat all over again. It's like watching Riley lately. Riley has made so many mistakes in the last 10 years, but he's so good that he covers up everything and he makes it better than what it really is. It's kind of like that. And that's what Shula had to do his final years because he sucked in personnel, but he was exceptional in coaching. My great-grandma was 104 when she passed. At about 98 or 99, she got mad and she was still alive. So I guess wanting to live forever is just a thought for the young. Yeah. Yep. Samuel Robina, the society is too soft to handle Archie Bunker or Fred Sanford. Yeah, they can't. Walter Olivares, J-Town, Greg Neal, Jack Sultan, NorCal. If I can't sleep, I read a book and listen to the Beatles, and I'm out real quick. Miss Van Ginkel was great. Shots on me. Yeah, she's man, the women are the rock, bro. The women are the best. Wasn't he the person who was responsible for Sanford and Son? I don't know if I don't know if he had Sanford and Son. You might be right. I went through his IMDb and I picked a bunch of them. Maybe I missed out on Sanford and Son. You know, I could be wrong, my brother. I mean, I didn't. He had 100 and something credits, so I kind of like, you know, I can't say I got to prepare for sports, so I had to like kind of, you know, coast through it. So I could have overlooked it, my friend. Campos says, Big O, what a game Sunday where there are two birds, it's one stone, Redskin Stadium, and the game in the fog. Yes, sir. Anybody know a Dolphins bar in Orlando? Let's help out Cash the Jeweler. Dolphins bar. Ooh, you know what you do, Cash the Jeweler? Sports Babe 305. Okay. She has her own website. Okay. And it's probably on her Twitter feed or the link to it, Sportsbabe 305. Maybe it's sportsbabe305.com. I'm not exactly sure what she named her website, but in her website, she has Dolphin bars links all over the country. She may have the Orlando one there. So look it up. I don't know, Sean, if you could look up Sports Babe 305, her website, but I know because I was on the website a couple months back and I saw it and I said, wow, that's a really cool idea to have Dolphin bars, you know, and that's, I think, a really smart idea for a site to have. We should have every Dolphin bar in the world. That way everybody knows where to go, man. Let's see. Sucks, man, Big O. I am 60. All our musical heroes are going. I know, Michael. I got you. Kyle Cockrell is in the house. Ignacio, I hope they find a way to keep Van Ginkel. Oh, he's not going anywhere, dude. He's not going anywhere. It looks like they like it here, too. You know, they made it a home since 2019. They look like they're entrenched in Miami. So I think if Miami, you know, plus this is the front office that believed in him and drafted him in the 5th round. So yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, it is 305sportsbabe.com. And I can even help you out. I went to Orlando, the Hideaway and Dapper Duck Bar.
The Hideaway and Dapper Duck Bar. You got that, my brother?
The Hideaway is the home of the Dolph Fan Club of Orlando, and the Dapper Duck Bar is home of the Sons of Shula.
Okay.
I think they're two different fan clubs.
Bars. Okay. And check out Sports Babe 305. If you're ever traveling, you know, I don't know if she has every Dolphin bar, but she did a good job at least of putting together a list that has the Dolphin bars. So I think that's really cool. And it's a nice service for you Dolphin fans out there. In honor of Norman Lear, a line from Sanford and Son, which he produced. So apparently he did. So Dougie Fresh is in. Your face is so ugly, I can put it in some dough and make gorilla cookies. What's the deal with the Dolphins playing in Brazil Open 24 season? If we win the Super Bowl, game should be in Miami. Well, it hasn't happened yet. That's a report from ESPN International. The Dolphins have the rights. They're the team that has the rights to Brazil, which is pretty cool, by the way. They also share the rights for England and Spain, with other teams. So there was a report that they could open the season next year in Brazil. Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, let me put the mic on. I was taking my daughter to school this morning, and I don't know if Joe slipped up or something, but he stated on there that he had heard it was either going to be Brazil or Spain.
Wow.
So I don't know if maybe he's just adding to it or whatever, but I mean, that's what he said.
He hangs around the organization.
No, I know. That's why I was saying, like, I don't know if he slipped up or he's just trying to keep the narrative of the game being over there going. I don't know.
Hold on a second. Look, Joe will have some fun with some crazy stories and he'll embellish that shit. Okay, that's fine. But when it comes to that kind of information, he's not going to bullshit people. So if he heard Brazil or Spain, then he knows what the hell he's talking about, you know? So, yeah, it's not like Joe knows what the fuck he's talking about, okay? He'll mess with you guys with his crazy little personal stories. Those are things that are, you know, I don't believe 95% of them, but when it comes to like the Dolphin stuff and all that, if he threw that out there, then there has to be some truth to it. I got to tell you something. I may go to that one. If it's in Brazil or Spain, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm finally going to go to one of these Dolphin trips. You know? So by then, yeah, I think things will be a little different. I'll be able to go. So, yeah. Let's see. Cash the Jeweler Orlando has a fantastic Finns fan club. There you go. Big O, when the coach compared Tua to Breeze, it reminded me of a media guy locally that made that comparison. Still cringes each time I see Stephen Ross on. Yeah, but that was on the opening of the body on the throw is what he was talking about. Zuko says, I'm older generation and still have no clue 90% Big O's music references. Yeah, I mean, you're going to struggle. You know, I'm all over the place. What can I tell you? J-Town, I hope it continues to climb, but my vote settles at 44K. It should plateau soon for a few days anyway. Yeah, you know what, J-Town? I do love the way you're viewing it. I think it will plateau at one point. And then I think it might even dip a little bit. Not too much, a couple thousand or something, which will be a perfect time for those of you that have never been in, get in. But the ETFs, I think people are getting in. They're smart because once the ETFs are approved on January 10th, shit's going to get out of control, dude. Absolutely out of control. Out of control. We're going to go over 100K, guaranteed, in 2024. Guaranteed. Bet anything on it. Let's see. George says Wings 1979 album Back to the Egg was so underrated. Rockstra. I'm with you, bro. Wings is it was a phenomenal band and phenomenal run. Hardknocks producers probably couldn't believe they got AVG's wife watching him get the interception. Exactly. What the F is a MAGA? Well, that's the extreme part of the Republican Party, kind of like you have the AOCs and the Bernies. Although, what do we call the extreme idiots on the Democratic side? What do we call, like, socialist? I don't know what we call it. Anyway, big O serious question. AVG sponsored by Cutter's Edge. Let's do it. Miles Deep, morning, O and Sean. Keep up the great work, and let's keep this train rolling. AD Dances, Big O, should I buy more Bitcoin even though it's going up? Paul in Connecticut. Paul, I would not stop buying Bitcoin. That's what I would do. I would not stop buying Ethereum, which it went up to 2,300. This thing was sitting at 1,900 for a while. Okay, I don't expect you guys that don't follow it hardcore and didn't take advantage like a lot of us when it was at 900 and 1,000, 1,100. But Bitcoin has been sitting at 1,900 for a couple of months now, and now it started to make a move. It's up to 2,300, and its peak was 4,800, and it will surpass that in 2024. Okay, I believe by the end of 2024, we're talking about a $7,000 to $10,000 Ethereum. So not just Bitcoin, but I would also be investing in Ethereum right now. Ethereum has not made its 100% move yet. And what I mean by that is it was at 44, 47, 4,800 or something. It's at 2,300 now. It's going to double very soon. When it pops, it's going to pop quickly and it's going to double quickly. So not only would I not stop buying Bitcoin as much as I can every day for now, I would also, if I could, buy as much Ethereum as possible. I am not a financial advisor. I've never been a financial advisor. I wasn't a financial advisor when I was telling you about Ethereum at 900. I wasn't a financial advisor when I was telling you about Bitcoin at 16.5, at 17, at 25,000. So I'm not a financial advisor now when it's at 44,000. Okay. I wasn't a financial advisor when I told you about Avalanche at $8 and it's now at 26. Okay. All right. I wasn't a financial advisor when I told you about Immutable X at 44 cents and now it's $1.44. All right. I am not a financial advisor in any stretch, way, or form. Just a guy that loves and absolutely kicks some fucking serious ass in crypto. But I'm not a financial advisor. Never have been, never will be. Okay? Just want to make sure I get that out there because you got to do your own homework. You got to make your own decisions. Shiba Inu is a meme coin that has built an ecosystem, but it is not a coin that you use like Avalanche or Polygon or Ethereum or Bitcoin or Cosmos or, anything like that, like real companies. Okay. I like SHIB. I have a little SHIB, but SHIB is not what drives my portfolio. Okay. SHIB is just, I have pure profits from SHIB. I already made my money from SHIB on the last go around when I told everybody when it was at 6 and it went all the way to 91 and hit 15 times. We got our money out, we got our profits, and we're down now and we're waiting for it. I'm just letting it sit there, my brother, and I don't care about it. I'm not worried about SHIB. If it goes up, great. I'll make more money off of it already than I did. But if not, it's not what I worry about. If meme coins are what you're doing in crypto, you're basically gambling. You might as well grab the Hard Rock app. Okay? That's just what I'm telling you. If you're about Pepe and Floki and SHIB and Doge and all, you're really not an investor. You're a gambler. Okay? You're not an investor. I do not relate with people that deal with meme coins. Okay? That's not investing. That's not something that I tell people to invest in. I would never do that. Okay? I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's a gamble. All right? Ethereum's not a gamble. Not the way I look at it. I don't look at Avalanche ever as a gamble. When Amazon is doing their business on Avalanche, Amazon, it's not a gamble. When game after game after game that is exploding on the Avalanche blockchain, that's not some meme coin. So I'm looking at actual business that's being done. Real life utility. Human beings. Why do they use Cardano? Why do they use Cosmos? Why do they use Avalanche? What's there to do with Doge? What's there to do with Floki or Pepe? Nothing. Okay? Meme coins, you are not an investor. You are a gambler. Understand that. You do not belong in the conversation of real crypto, real investments. You are playing a little game, and you're hoping that enough people buy into that game so you can get some value. But it's a balloon. That's what meme coins are. just a hot air balloon, and you just hope that you get out before it gets punctured. Okay? So I just want to make sure you guys know what meme coins are. You're not an investor at all by meme coins. It's like you're playing the roulette wheel. There's no skill to it. There's no intelligence to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So just want you to know what meme coins are. I couldn't tell when my wallet saw some cash in it. Everything is plastic and plastic debt. I know. It's just to think that you're not digital already. It's just silly shit, dude. That's old man thinking. You know, it's just stuff. There's men have trouble with adjustments and change. We're routine animals, and once we have our routine, we're set, and we don't like change. It's hard. So you'll get that stuff. Oh, as long as cash, and there's only cash. Well, you haven't been cash for years, dude. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So stupid, you know. It's just it's crazy thinking. That it's backward thinking is what it is. Sadly, that's true. Cash is out. More control and Big Daddy monitoring and eventually controlling every penny spent. Well, that's if you guys allow CBDCs to happen. You know. G-Firm, thank you for the love on the super chat, my man. Got a name for our defense. How do you like the tropical swarm? I like it. I like the tropical swarm. It's a good one. Let's see. Another one. Mason D. P. Dormenico. Do you think we will ever see Fangio on Hard Knocks? Probably not. It's not his thing, dude. Probably not. Maybe they'll show him, but he physically talking, nah. They might show McDaniel talking to him for like 5 seconds, and then he'll continue walking or something like that. But yeah, no, I don't think so. And why do you even what's you know? You want to have some fun while you're watching this. That's not, you know, he's just like a grumpy old man. You know what I'm saying? It's just, he's about work and nothing else. He doesn't want to be bothered with that. So I think we're better off with Tyreek, and we're better off with Tua, and we're better off with the other guys having some fun. And Mike McDaniel, of course, who's stealing the show, you know? So I think we're better off with that. I don't think Vic Fangio is the entertainment you're looking for. All right, let's go. Hour number 2 is next. Let's get Matt Verderame's opinion. I don't know if he's watched any Hard Knocks yet, but I'll tell you what, there's like a Hard Knocks going on right now with the New York Jets. They didn't want to be on Hard Knocks, but, well, they're kind of on the midseason Hard Knocks now because the dysfunction is not in Miami. It's in New York. Hour number 2 is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. How you doing, my man? You feeling good?
I am. I'm feeling pretty good. I know when I'm done doing this interview, I've got to paint my living room. I'm not excited about having to paint my living room. Yeah, but we'll get it done.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's not fun. That's definitely not fun. Are you a good painter? That's the question.
I am. I just don't want to be. It's my own fault.
So the effort's not going to be there. There's going to be some drips. It's going to be some bubbles.
No, you know what?
Life's not going to be happy with that. I don't know.
The effort will be there because one time, a long time ago, the effort was not there, and I had to do it again. And so I will not go through that. I was pissed off that I had to paint our guest bathroom at like 7 a.m. years back. I forget what the reasoning was. I had to do it that early. And I basically took the paint can and just threw it at the wall and then just rolled it. It did not go well. So I won't do that, but I will tell you, I will move with purpose as I try to get this done as fast as humanly possible.
I can tell you what happens in my house. My wife goes, "You idiot. You don't know how to do anything right. Get out of the way." That's how it goes. And she ends up doing it because she does it right, because she has the patience and I don't. And it's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, if I take you out of sports, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Yes, exactly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. I'll talk music too. I can talk a little music if you want. That's about it. But I am pretty much useless everywhere else. And she knows it. So
I hear you. I tell people all the time, they'll ask me if they know what I do for a living. They're like, well, if you didn't do what you do, what would you do? I'm like, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Like, I was like, I probably would have become a cop or a teacher because I would have wanted the pension. that would have been it. Like, but I don't know. Like, I would not have been a very good police officer. I had a lot of family, or have a lot of family that does it, but I can't imagine it at midnight if some guy was going 20 over the speed limit on the highway. Like, I'm not pulling out after that guy. There's no way. I'm sitting there, I'm relaxing. I'm not going after that guy. I would not have been very good at upholding the rules of the road. So probably ended up in the right profession. But yeah, when it comes to the house, it really depends. If we're talking about painting, I've got you covered. If we're talking about like some stuff with like the gardens, I can do that. My dad is amazing with gardens. Like I thankfully, I think by osmosis got some of that. If we're talking about getting up on the roof, hell no. I'm not getting up on the roof. Like, there's no chance. If you live in my area and you want to clean my gutters, I'll pay you any amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's not worth it. You call a professional for that. No, I call a professional for that shit. I'm not doing that, bro.
Yeah,
there's no way I'm doing that. My wife wouldn't let me do that either because she knows that I'd end up dead. So yeah,
my wife would let me do it because she doesn't care if I end up dead. But I'm not. There's no world because our roof, we have like, I don't know, the one set of gutters is like 10 or 12 feet off the ground. That I'll do, but then we have a second set of gutters. It's like 25 feet off the ground.
Yeah,
no chance. Like, absolutely. In fact, we've lived here for 5 years, and I've just put it off because I'm like, like what could possibly be in there, right? Like we don't have that many trees around us, and we had a guy come out in like August. And he's up there and he's yelling down. He's like, when's the last time you did these? I'm like, never. Have fun, man. See you later. I was like, not a chance. So there I am.
All right. Well, you know who wasn't covered was Robert Salah by Benigno, the Joe Benigno. I mean, what is that story, bro? I mean, for Benigno to come out publicly and say that the coach is sending him these texts, and then he tries to backtrack and says that he misinterpreted, which then just kind of just makes it even worse as it is. I don't know how Robert Salah survives now. I mean, you're talking quarterback stuff with media hosts, and dude, I get it. There are people that do talk to media members, but brother, you got to know who you're going to trust here on this one. Wow.
Yeah. So I grew up listening to WFN in New York and to Joe Beningo, and he's good on the radio and he's very entertaining. Although I feel like he's kind of jumped the shark with the Jets with this stuff. This is guy. I mean, I listen to him all the time, so I'm very familiar with Beningo. My father listens to him every single day, and he's entertaining and he's funny. But like, you can't do that. You cannot. I don't care. But see, here's the problem. So Salah's texting him. Like, Joe Beningo is a radio host. He's very good at his job, but like, he's a fan. Like, he's a fan of the team. And to his credit, he's very open about the fact he's a fan of the team. But like
I am.
Yeah,
like
right.
I am.
Like, you know, but Joe, like, you have to delineate the line from I'm a fan of the team to I'm going to torch the coach who's been generous enough to like talk to me and be generous and have a line of communication with me. I can tell you a few things are going to come out of this. One, the Jets are going to not have any appearances on WFAN for quite a while. Two, Salah's not going to be sending Joe Beningo a Christmas card.
Nope.
And three, look, if it's true that Salah texted him what he initially said he did before he backtracked, like, I felt for a while that this is untenable. How do you go forward with this? Like, what do you do? But here's the problem. Quickly, if they fire him at the end of this year, you and I both know how this goes. Rodgers is going to go up to Woody Johnson, not to Joe Douglas, to Woody Johnson, and say, Woody, I want Nathaniel Hackett as my head coach. Because Nathaniel Hackett and I are boys, and that's who I want. And if you're the Jets, what do you do? Like, you can't – listen, I'm from that area of the country. You cannot make that guy the head coach.
You married her. I mean, you married her. You're tied to her. You got to listen to her now. Unfortunately,
this man, but like, this isn't like Arizona. Okay, I'm from that area. They will burn that stadium to the ground. Like, I can't even imagine what the reaction will be up there.
We're
back home.
About an 80-year-old man that wears rappers bling.
I'm aware. Listen, but I had somebody tell me a long time ago that there was an owners meeting. He wore like a beanie propeller hat to an owners meeting. And people were not amused. Let's put it that way. I just like, if you're the Jets, it's almost like the lesser of the two evils, right? Like, you just keep Salah and you just close your eyes and pray to God it works out when Rodgers shows up.
We got a problem there now. No. There's a deeper problem here now. Players will not trust him.
I don't disagree with you. I completely agree with you. But I don't know.
That is the biggest problem of this whole thing.
Totally agree.
Robert Salah now will lose the players in his locker room because he's talking to the media and he's giving them insight on the team. And players, brother, all players ever hear from their coaches and their people above them, don't talk, don't tell anybody this, don't tell, hey, guys, everything stays in the locker room. And your head coach? No, dude, no. Robert Salah has a major problem now, dude.
I agree. I totally agree. I just don't know if you're Woody Johnson, if you're Joe Douglas, like, what do you do? I mean, if you fire him, you're screwed. Like, Rodgers is going to go up there and be like, I want who might be the worst head coach in NFL history to be our head coach. And if he's not our head coach, I'm going to throw an absolute fit on McAfee every Tuesday, which, by the way, I very rarely agree with anything that comes out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth. But when he talked about the fact that the Jets have more leaks than the Titanic the other day, like, he's not wrong. I mean, how does that one story, and I give Diana a lot of credit. She did an excellent job over at The Athletic about breaking that story where the Jets essentially went to Zach Wilson and were like, hey, Zach, you're back in. And Zach Wilson was like, I'm good. I've seen the offensive line, and I like to live. So I'm going to sit this one out, and you guys go put anybody else back there. Like,
yeah.
As bad as that is, assuming that happened, as bad as that is, who's leaking that? Who is telling reporters that? I mean, that is wild. I can't. Most teams would do anything. They'd be so embarrassed not to have that leak, right? Like, they're not going to tell you. Who in that organization can't stand Zach Wilson so much that they're like, you know what? Here's a story for you. It's incredible. The Jets are just a total disaster.
Well, you're talking to the guy that broke the story that Flo didn't want Tua, right?
That is true. That is true. I mean, and kudos to you for that, because I have no idea how the hell that is. It's hard.
And at the same time, I knew it was Jordan Love also that he wanted. I just couldn't. I was sworn to secrecy on the Jordan Love part. They didn't swear me to secrecy on the. You could talk that he didn't want him, and so Zach Wilson, huh? So Tua for 2 years had an offensive line that he would get pressured when he was handing off. He had an offensive line coach that is the fourth in line now because they brought him on like an intern to learn from everybody else. Because Mike McDaniel's smart. He knows eventually he'll lose Frank Smith. Eventually he'll lose, guys, and he'll have to elevate and develop. So that's what he's doing. The guy that was the lead guy is the developmental guy now on the coaching staff. Okay, put it that way. And then Tua was playing with a coach that literally hated him and didn't want him.
It wasn't good.
And so he never complained. He never said, I don't want in. He was always ready. Even if they were shitting on him all the time, from inside the building or from everyone else all across the country shitting on the kid. So think about how mentally tough Tua Tagovailoa is compared to Zach, because Tua had it even worse, dude. His coach hated him. Robert Saleh has never hated him or anything. He gave him all the support he could possibly give him from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? And Tua never had that support from the get-go. It's funny to hear the Zach Wilson story and then to watch what Tua went through for 2 years.
Oh, listen, I mean, Tua, I don't think anybody would doubt the guy's mental and physical toughness. I mean, and if you do, you don't know who the guy is. So I think that's true. Now, that being said, I mean, you and I might have a pretty good mental toughness compared to Zach Wilson based on what we've seen in the last 2 years. I mean, this is – I honestly can say, and I've asked a few people around the league this last few days, I can't think of any player who's ever just been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all set. Now, I mean, there have been guys who are like, they're hurt and they're like, hey, I can't do it. That's one thing. That's a totally different deal. Right. You're healthy and you're an NFL player and your coach is like, hey, let's get you back in there. It's okay. I mean, that's you don't come back from that.
No.
Like, you won't, and here's one thing too. If that's because I know the Jets immediately like, no, that's not true. If that's not true, Zach Wilson should have been up on a podium 15 minutes later saying that's BS. I want the ball. Give me the. I don't want to hear from Saleh on this. I don't want to hear from him. I want to hear from Zach Wilson.
That's right.
Zach, somebody just said that you're an NFL player who doesn't want to play football because you're scared of getting hurt. I mean, that's essentially what the report was. Zach Wilson should have been telling everybody on the PR staff at the Jets, telling all the coaches, hey, look, call a press conference. I'm going up there, and I'm telling the whole world, I want the football. I'm the best quarterback on this team, and I'm going to prove that. And to not hear from him after that basically tells me, and I'm not surprised, Dan is a great reporter, that it's true. I mean, it's out there. And by the way, I also haven't seen a whole lot of Jets players rushing to debunk that story either. So,
no.
I mean, Saleh, he has to do it. What other choice does he have? But nobody else has said anything, which not great. Not a great look for Gang Green up there.
Any hard knocks for you yet?
Snippets, not a lot. I did see the one thing that made me laugh is I saw the clip about Wes Welker talking to Tyreek Hill about the single coverage stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it actually comes out this morning, but I wrote it Monday night. I do an all 22 breakdown every week where I pick 3 plays. It's just, for whatever reason, they're really important. They interest me, whatever. And I picked Tyreek Hill 78-yard touchdown as one of the 3 plays. I would love to ask Tua, at what point when they broke the huddle did he know he had a touchdown? Like, I watched pretty much literally every snap of Tyreek Hill's career. And I would say since his second year on, I don't think there's ever been more than maybe a half dozen snaps where he's lined up and his safety hasn't been over the top of him on that side of the field.
Right.
And if you watch the all-22 on that play, and hopefully you'll read my story and you'll see it, the Commanders have one deep safety, and he's all the way on the other side of the field from Tyreek Hill. Like, he's across the hash marks because they have a 3-man set over there. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill is not only one-on-one. He's one-on-one against the rookie safety. And it is, if you watch that play, Tua doesn't even take a drop back. He takes one step to clear the center and then just throws it. That had to be the easiest 78-yard touchdown pass in NFL history. Had to be. He didn't even, Tua basically was like, I'm going to throw this ball about 20 yards, put a little loft under it, and we're up 7-0. Because there's no way this guy is covering Tyreek Hill one-on-one. And Cameron Curl is lined up about 40 yards to the other side of the boundary. I learned 2 things on that play. One, pretty sure Tyreek Hill is getting to 2,000 yards this year. Okay, as long as he's healthy, that's going to happen.
Shocker.
And two, Washington's going to have a whole different coaching staff next year. It's not just going to be Jack Del Rio. I mean, that is, to call that defense is just staggering. Like, I'd love to know what the thought process was behind that defensive alignment.
Our guy can stay with him.
God, nobody can stay with him. I mean, I got to tell you, I very rarely feel bad for an NFL player beyond when they get hurt. That rookie safety must have been like, are you kidding?
Right.
I got to tell you the honest to God's truth. Oh, I'd have tackled him. I would have just tackled him and taken the 5 yards. I would have walked into the line of scrimmage and just tackled him. And been like, you know what? That's fine. Here you go. Here's a first down. Because the second he gets off the line of scrimmage, it's a 78-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
and it was.
You can tell that they're young players because sometimes a veteran might go, oh, hell no. This is not a good call, bro.
Time out.
You got me. And almost just right at that snap, he's already rushing to that side of Tyreek, anticipating that he's going to burn that corner and kind of break free from whatever play call you have. Sometimes it's what Vic Fangio said last week. He said, I don't want a player that does everything I tell him to do, but I also don't want the player that doesn't do anything that I want him to do. So he doesn't mind a guy that can ad lib a little bit and kind of think about that. That's that kind of moment, but you're so young, you don't want to challenge authority at that moment. And maybe authority made the wrong call. And sometimes you're on the field, you see that it's the wrong call. You need to correct it right there and then. And that's what great players do. They do that all the time. Yeah, sure. So a bunch of times that we don't even know about a great play that was made. It wasn't a great call. It was a great adjustment that was made by a certain player or something like that. And we just never find out about it unless it's written later on or the story is told or some shit like that. Look at the Tyreek thing this past week. Yeah. They're picking on that because, of course, everybody that was wrong on Tua, they try anytime there's something that they can pick on him, they do it. And I forgot the name of the guy, but he says, oh, see, it was a bad pass by Tua, great adjustment by Tyreek. And then Tyreek had to correct the guy and say,
yep.
I was the guy that was wrong. Actually, he threw the right pass. And that's the kind of shit that goes on all the time, that if Tyreek doesn't correct you, the narrative continues. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, just that kid was not going to go against authority at that moment. And by the way, it was like a 29-year-old assistant coach that was designing the defense this week against Miami. Jesus Christ.
With all due respect, I don't care. I don't care if he's 9. Like, my 6-year-old daughter, Maisie, would have been like, hey, listen, we got to cover that guy. I mean, come on. Like,
the entire time. Yes.
I'm telling you, right, dude, honest to God, Tyreek Hill had to have lined up on that play and been like, oh my God. Like, I don't care if they called the bubble screen. Tyreek must have like looked over at Tua and given him whatever the sign was for the go ball, like, hey, Tua, going deep. I mean, that is, I got to tell you, the first time I watched it, 'cause I'm thinking like, okay, I needed a couple plays. I'm looking. I'm like, oh, let me watch that play. Let me see what happened. I swear to God, when I turned on the film and saw the alignment, I'm like, there's no way. Like, this has got to be some kind of like post-snap rotation. And then, no, it wasn't. It was just, we're just going to play man-on-man all the way across with Cameron Curl about 40 yards that way and hope for the best. I mean, it had to be the easiest touchdown of his career. Honestly, him and Tua, both of them.
Yeah. No, it was an easy read, easy throw. You know, and it's one of those throws you could tell that Tua is like, you know, it's so easy. It's like that when that's just wide open by himself and he drops it, you know. It's one of those that you're just like, dude, I can't screw this one up. It's so easy, you know.
It's almost like in basketball and the whole lane clears and you're like, I just have to lay this in. It's almost harder than when there's somebody in your face because you're used to it. Oh, I swear, I'm sure Tua in his head was like, just don't make a horrible throw here. Like, just loft it out there and he's gone. And he was gone. It was a good throw, and it was easy.
Don't see the reason why it doesn't happen.
Yes, don't underthrow it because you're trying to be too fine. Like, just loft her out there and let him run under it. And it was a good throw. Put it right where he needed to.
Yeah, it was a good throw. And he didn't have turnovers this week because I've been picking on him the last couple of weeks. He's been turning it over too much.
He did a good job. I got to tell you, I thought his best play of that game was a play in the red zone. I think it was the second quarter. And Washington had a free rusher on him. He just little move, stayed right on. I know that's something like that doesn't show up in the box score, but that's big time. Like a lot of quarterbacks.
He did it 3 times in that game, completed 2 of the passes. The third one was the one of the sideline play, and he still made a nice throw to the receiver actually down the sidelines on that. He's just an accurate passer, dude. That's the thing about him.
He did a nice job. I mean, look, you know what? Let's face it with the Dolphins. The next 2 weeks, they play the Titans, and then they play not even a football team with the Jets. So they'll win those 2 games. Then comes what is going to – I honestly think is a good thing for Miami. You're going to have 3 straight games against Dallas, who's certainly a very good team. Baltimore is a good team. Then Buffalo, who you don't know what they're going to be playing for. You don't know. But is an explosive team, a dangerous team, all this stuff. That's – look, I don't expect anybody to go 3-0 against that stretch, but I like the Dolphins. Like, can you go 2-1? Can you do that? I mean, can you go 3-0 is a lot to ask. Like, I don't care who you are. That's hard. Okay, but can you win 2 of them? Can you win 2 of those games?
No, dude. If they are who we think they are, they're no worst case scenario is 2 out of 3. If we think they're better than Baltimore, if we think they're better than Dallas, if we think they can go deep into the playoffs, if we think they're better than Buffalo, then enough of the talk, bro. You got to win. I think they should sweep it. I think they should win all 3, to be quite honest. But worst case scenario, you can't lose more than 1.
Look, going to Baltimore, that's a hard game that time of year. That's a hard place to play, and it's cold. But I would say this. Like, the other 2 games are at home, and you need to, like, at some point, you got to shed that narrative of beat up all the bad teams, can't beat a good one. Like, and by the way, for the record,
they won in Baltimore last year down by 2.
I know, it's a crazy game.
By 21.
Yep.
Brought them back and won the game.
Okay? Listen, it was amazing. I remember writing about Tua after that game. I just think, it's a hard place to play. That's why they made that game so impressive. It was a very, there are certain stadiums in the NFL that just, when you go there, you're in for a street fight. You just are. They're hard games. The weather's bad. That being said, look, Miami's a very good football team. I don't necessarily buy into this whole, like, well, they can't beat good teams. They've just lost a few games against good teams, and they've destroyed every bad team they faced. This is, look, win your next 2 games, take care of business, get to 11-3, and then you got that stretch where, look, right now, Trevor Lawrence is hurt. They're going to have a hard time getting to the 1 seed. Baltimore's schedule is very, very difficult. I mean, in Kansas City's lost 3 of their last 5 games. And
What's up with your boys? What's up with your boys getting tripped up this week?
I was there. I was actually in the suite next to Taylor Swift, which was interesting. And we had a lot of people who don't know how to handle themselves and just took photos of her like they were paparazzi throughout the evening, and then were escorted out of the building. But no, you know what? Look, I think it's a couple things. It was the first game all year where the defense wasn't particularly sharp. And to their credit, they actually got the ball back 21-19, 24-19. The Chiefs basically have you and me at receiver. I mean, that's what's going on. Like, they have Rashee Rice. Like, if one more person asks me, well, is Travis Kelce falling off? I'm like, watch the film of these games. There's 3 guys around them on every play. I mean,
they're bracketing him, which is what you're supposed to do.
It is a miracle that guy's going to have 1,200 yards this year. It's honestly maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen out of him. Like, they cover him with 2 or 3 guys on every place they should.
Oh, wait a minute. He's going to get 1,200 yards while traveling the world, which really becomes even more impressive.
It's unbelievable. Like, the fact that he's going to have that many yards with the amount of coverage that's been dedicated to him is just it's staggering. But in any event, look, I think for the Chiefs, if you look at their schedule, so they got the Bills this weekend at Arrowhead, where all bets are off. I have no idea what's going to happen in that game because both of those teams, you never know which version's showing up. But then after that, they have a very easy schedule. They have the Patriots, they have the Raiders at home, they have the Chargers, they have the Bengals at home. So the Chiefs have a shot to run the table here if they beat Buffalo. But I don't know. I think the defense will bounce back and be fine. The offense is just very, very limited on the outside. They can run it, and they can throw to Rice and Kelce. They're very good on third down because their scheme is so good. But if you can take away the middle of the field with them, it becomes a question of how much can Mahomes do. I mean, that's really it. I mean, how much magic can he create that afternoon? Because they have legitimately, for a good team, they have the worst receivers I've ever seen, other than Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice has been very pleasantly surprising. The rest of that team outside is brutal, absolutely brutal.
All right, so we've got the Patriots, obviously in just absolute disarray, everything going on. They got zapped this week. You've got the Jets, obviously with the whole Salah and Zach Wilson and Benigno crap going on. You got Von Miller trying to come back to the facility this week for the Bills after a domestic violence arrest. Can things get any easier for the Miami Dolphins? Because not only are these teams bad, but the dysfunction that's going on all 3 franchises in the AFC East. Meanwhile, Miami wins twice a week, as I tell Dolphins fans. You're winning either on Sunday, on Thursdays, on Fridays, or on Mondays, and you're winning on Tuesdays with Hardknocks. So it's funny how life for one team is completely different than life for the other 3 teams in the AFC East.
I would say this, not just in the AFC East, because the AFC East is a disaster this year outside of Miami. But there's never been a year, well, I should say never, in recent memory, where the AFC's been this open. I mean, for 20 years, you had New England, or you had Peyton Manning, whether it was in Indy or Denver, or the Steelers, or Baltimore. And then the last 5 years, you've had Kansas City just sitting there. And it's like, well, you've got to get through them, and you got to go there. And it's just like, good luck. This is a year where it's pretty open. I mean, look, Baltimore is a good team, but Baltimore has not done anything in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. Just have not done it. Jacksonville's an interesting team, but Jacksonville's pass defense is atrocious. And any team, I mean, Jake Browning just looked like Joe Montana. Okay, I mean, that was unbelievable.
Trevor injury just puts them.
It's a killer. It's a killer. The wild card teams, whether it's Pittsburgh or Cleveland or Indy, I mean, Houston's probably the most dangerous one because of Stroud, honestly. And they just lost Tank Dell, which is a big loss. But you respect them because of Stroud. I mean, you look at the AFC, Kansas City. On one hand, you look at the Chiefs and go, look, nobody wants to run into them in January because they're the kind of team that, like, they've been there, they've done it, they've got a really good defense, and they have Mahomes. I mean, it could just be one of those days where he scores 40 because he just decides to go out and go totally nuclear in the game. But they're not. While the Chiefs are still a very good football team, they're not impregnable as in past years. Where some years you'll look at them and just go, they're not going to lose. I mean,
it seems like the Chiefs have been figured out a little bit easier now because of the whole, hey, bro, just brace Kelce.
Right.
and force the rest of those guys to beat you. And those guys have not been able to beat people week in and week out. It'll be occasional, but it won't be consistent. And that's probably the lesson learned for them now. I don't think they'll be going cheap on wide receiver anymore.
Oh, no. Listen, if you know anything about Brett Veach, next year, they're probably going to have about 5 new receivers. I mean, when they lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago because they couldn't block, they ripped up that entire offensive line. Like literally every single guy in that line was out the following year. So, no, I think you're right. I mean, that is the obvious thing where you look at Kansas City and go, okay, the defense is actually very good this year, but offensively, they're limited. I mean, they can only do some things, and they move the ball a ton, but they turn it over because Mahomes has to throw in a window the size of a shoebox every throw. And they
gambled with their tackles. They got rid of their tackles. They brought other tackles. But if you would have done better at wide receiver,
you would have been fine.
I think you would have been just.
The tackles have been okay. It's really just that the receivers have been a mess.
That's my point. The tackle gamble worked out.
It's been fine.
But what didn't work out was the wide receiver transition. And I guess because they hadn't figured out what they had to do with them, you ended up winning that title. Now they figured out, okay, we got to stop Kelsey and force these other guys, which is a position they were never in because you could never do that to the Chiefs because they always had the receivers. It's a strange dynamic because it was brilliant by the front office to not have to. When they got rid of the tackles, you're like, yo, dude, what are you doing? And then they brought in those guys and they got by with it. Yeah. And you're going, okay, you got this guy and you're going to get by with those receivers. And it didn't happen.
No, it's been, I mean, ironically, the second round rookie Rice has been the kid who's been really good. I mean, the rest of this team, nobody can catch a pass. I mean, Rice has been fantastic. It's going to be very interesting though, because every one of these teams in the AFC, the divisional leaders, I'm not necessarily talking about teams like Pittsburgh. You could make a case that they're the best team in the AFC. You could also make a case that any one of them, there's a flaw that's going to hold them back. It's, and that's going to be the interesting thing. I mean, when you look at these teams, Jacksonville is kind of the newer kid on the block along with Miami. Both teams won the playoffs last year. Miami, of course, had a third-string quarterback and actually played very well in the game. But there's a lack of experience there, but there's a lot of talent, and there's coaches who have gone on deep playoff runs. So you have that. And you have Tyreek, who's won a Super Bowl. You have Baltimore that has talent but never wins in the playoffs. So it's like, can they buck that trend? Kansas City has all the experience in the world. They have the best quarterback on earth, but is he held back by guys who just can't catch the football? And then you have Jacksonville. You don't know what's going on with Lawrence, and their pass defense ranks 30th in the NFL. And in the playoffs, if you can't stop the pass, you got a problem. I mean, that is one of the things, truthfully, I look at with the Eagles and the Niners. If you can block on it, you can throw on them. You can throw the ball on those teams. I mean, but it's especially Philly. But it's just a question of can you block and everything else. But the AFC is going to be very, very interesting. If you have a divisional round where it's Miami and Baltimore and Kansas City and Jacksonville, I don't know. I think Jacksonville is the fourth of the 4 teams. I think, but it's really probably going to come down to situational football, who's healthy, all that stuff.
All right. So last question. Rushing. Tyreek.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill catching 2,000 yards. At the beginning of the year, one of the things that I talked about in training camp was that I felt they were going to keep 5 running backs instead of the usual 4 that they did, and that Chris Brooks would be the extra addition because this team is going to be more dedicated to the run. Then Tyreek comes out, I'm going to get 2,000 yards. And I said, no, you're not. Because if you're going to run the ball a lot more, then there's no way they're going to pass the ball that much. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're the second best rushing team in the NFL at 143 yards per game. Only Baltimore is better at 158. They have 1,720 yards. Baltimore only better at 1,903. They do average 5.3 yards per carry to Baltimore's 4.9. So that's impressive. So they have the best per carry average in the NFL. So you're telling me they're going to be one of the top 2 rushing teams in the NFL, and they're going to have a 2,000 and a 1,000 yard receiver?
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, here we are.
That's an article for you right there. I don't know how many times that's been done in history, but what Mike McDaniel's doing and what Tyreek is accomplishing on top of how much they're rushing, I think that's one of the most incredible stats and accomplishments in football in a long, long time if this truly happens.
Listen, I mean, their offense, when it's right and it's rolling, it is something to watch. I mean, it really, when they were playing Washington the other day, I was like, man, they might go for another 60. They might just roll them out of the bed. I think they basically could have if they want to. They're phenomenal. They're fast. They're innovative. They're different. And Tua is the perfect quarterback for the system because Tua, and I'm not saying he's a system quarterback, he's perfect for that system because he's smart and he's accurate. And so that's what McDaniel needs. He needs him to be on time and he needs him to throw the ball so he can keep guys on the move. And when you have Hill, who is, in my opinion, the most explosive receiver to ever step on a football field. I mean, he is just, look, I watched him for a lot of years in Kansas City where they throw the ball to him and you knew, like, if he catches the ball, he's going to pick up an extra 10 yards. I mean, guys would just back up to terrified of him. It was like, well, let's just wait to help arise. Between that and then, you got Achane and Mostert and everything else. I mean, it is an incredibly explosive group. It's a fun group. I
watched Marino with Clayton and Duper.
Yeah.
And that shit was fun. Okay.
Oh,
now, they have no running game.
Well, yeah, because Tony Nathan was good. But, yeah, you're right. They run the ball a lot.
They were serviceable. Whatever they had, Tony Nathan, Higgs, whatever it was Davenport. They had serviceable guys. They never had a great running game. He never had it. Okay.
No, I totally agree.
But it's just not something we're used to. We're not used to the guy rushing for 1,000 yards and a team rushing for 3,000 yards. And you're also going to have a receiver that's going to go for 2,000 yards. That just doesn't make sense, dude. It's just absolutely crazy. We're not used to it. It's usually one or the other. It's not like the Ravens are killing it in the passing game. Yeah, they're killing it in the running game. That's what they always do. But you usually don't do both. I mean, it's just really weird. Either you are number one in wide receiving and you're in the middle of the pack rushing, or vice versa. But
right,
like that, right. Both. Wow, dude. It's really impressive.
Great offense.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, what do you got going on this side, my man?
All the same staples as usual. Let's think here. So the quarterback rankings coming out. I got the column on Sunday that runs the whole length of the day. My all 22, which does feature that Tyreek Hill play, which hopefully people will go check out. I have matchups to watch. They'll come out on Friday. That'll break down all the games ahead. And thankfully, I don't have to cover the Steelers-Pats game on Thursday. Thank God. Because if I have to watch Bailey Zappi and Mitchell Trubisky, I might do the gutters. I might get up to 25 feet and kick the ladder over and just sit up on the roof. Sorry, can't watch the game. Just sleep on the roof. That's less scary than having to watch that football game.
Come down here, cover another roller coaster celebration. You got to admit that was good.
I like that. That was good. I like that they thought out I forget who the player was who was going down and not like putting down the.
It was Rob Hunt. Rob Hunt.
Yeah, it was Rob Hunt putting down the seatbelts. I like the attention to detail. I'm a journalist. I like the details. I like the details.
That was one of the best celebrations out there, man.
That was good. That was good. That was nice. I like that.
Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his exceptional work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up next week.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Matt Verderame, man, always getting it done for us. We always appreciate it. My question, True Finn fan says, when was the last time the Dolphins were the best team in the East? Not in first place. I mean the best team in the East. So a long, long time, dude. Decades and decades. You'd have to go back to the 80s at one point or something. It wasn't in the 90s because we were in the same division with the Bills. And Dolphins were never, ever in the same category with the Bills. Not even close, dude. Phil Dunkley, what's up, Big O? Let's go. Finn's offense and defense on the same page. Finn's gonna be a problem. It's about time. Yes, sir. It feels good to have a real QB now, doesn't it? Huh? You know it, Black Boy.
That's the way, baby. Got to have that QB, man. Brett Dodger, a Chan just adds such a dynamic factor to the backfield. Mike McDaniel adds some shit, man. He is the man. I got to tell you. Baptist Health of South Florida, folks, the official sports medicine provider for the Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, FIU, FAU. FAU, unfortunately, lost last night. Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon, and half marathons. Visit the nearest location to you here in South Florida. Go to baptisthealth.net/ortho. Make an appointment. Man, if right now you got an injury and it's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. All right, and use that QR code right there. All right. Home field advantage makes so much of a difference for the Finns, especially weather factor. Let's go get it. Yes, sir. It would be nice if they can get the home field advantage. Frankie says, if I'm at a rock concert and see Big O sitting on my seat, I will just move to an empty seat like Cameron Good. Just saying. Last night in the meeting, JPP takes Cameron Good's seat, and Cam's like, well, that's JPP. By the way, I got something to say. It's better to burn out than to fade away. No, this is what I got something to say. I think it's a guarantee that the Miami Dolphins are winning a Super Bowl. I mean, you got JPP. He's the Super Bowl lucky charm. I mean, that's automatic, dude. Not his first Super Bowl. It was his second Super Bowl. They went and added him in Tampa, and they went and won the title. Now they add him here in Miami, and he's a hometown guy. I'm telling you, we got, there's like that little leprechaun in Lucky's Charms, Well, we've got our own leprechaun, and his name is JPP. So I was watching Hardknocks last night, and I'm putting one and one together, and I'm saying the karma's all over the place. We have no dysfunction. The whole place in the division has dysfunction. We finally got our quarterback, and we've been waiting for decades now. Haven't had one since Marino. We finally got a head coach. They finally allowed the general manager to just run the team and not get in the way. We don't have any more Flows or Stephen Ross and Bruce Beal doing stupid shit. Everything says championship right here. Everything about it. And when you add JPP, who only goes to Super Bowl teams, that's it, dude. I felt like Belushi and Blues Brothers in the church scene where the light comes in, and I have seen the light. When JPP said, I'm here for another ring, I was like, that's right. That's what's going on here. This is why he's here. The football gods have looked down upon us and said, you have suffered long enough. Enough with the Cleo Lemons and the Ray Lucases. Enough with the Adam Gases and the Cam Camerons and the Brian Flores. Enough. You will suffer no longer with the Rick Spielmans and the Jeff Irelands. Enough. You will have no more Parcells, no more Tannenbaums, no more of that. You will now enjoy good things. I give you JPP. It's over. I think all 31 teams should just quit right now. It's over for them. We have Tua. We have the ukulele. We have Tears of a Clown. We have Hard Knocks. We've got Hard Rock Stadium. We've got Tyreek. We've got Mike McDaniel. We've got the best front office out there. We got a defense. We got old man Crunch running the defense, and we got JPP. So you guys can try all you want around there in the NFL, but the football gods have spoken. They have said, Patriots, it's over for you. Jets, you'll be Jets. Bills, your run is over. Dolphins, rise. It's a beautiful thing. It's our time. Enjoy it. All right. It's PP, according to 6'7", 350, Raekwon Davis. JPP is running out of fingers for his rings. Too much. Forgive me, Lord. Well, remember, I think he blew out 2 of fingers out of his hand, right? So he's going for his 3rd ring. Just saying. Ray Lucas. Big O getting a little cocky. You think I'm cocky now? Didn't I get the Vegas room at the beginning of the year? I've been set, dude. I'm in Vegas already for the Super Bowl. Come on, bro. Let's see. Yeah, we got JPP. You know me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, man. By the way, when we like on nights, we try to figure out who in South Florida is the Cutter's Edge MVP of the night, because William Quigley and company, they do MVP work all throughout South Florida here. They've been doing it for a long time, bro. William Quigley started with a lawnmower, and now they've got like over 70 trucks. They service all of South Florida. They made our house absolutely beautiful, front yard, backyard. We got these Sylvester palms that are providing so much shade. And I'm telling you, and the artificial turf for dogs, it is the best. But you know what's the best? Is to find out who is our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Out there are going, wait a minute, but their South Florida teams weren't really in action last night. Well, actually, that's not true, okay, because unfortunately FAU was in action last night. And what I mean by unfortunate is that they lost to Illinois, but that's not Vladislav Golden, who had 23 points. Nope, not our MVP of the night. No, but hey, FAU, I know you lost in the Jimmy V Classic. We're still pulling for you. I just want you to know that we haven't forgotten about you here, okay? So we're still rooting for you out there. You'll bounce back. I know you will. But last night was Hardknocks. And I know that so many of you were so worried. You had your trepidations about the Dolphins being on Hardknocks because you're beaten down from the past. And a lot of you think that this is the team from the past. And I try to explain to you, it doesn't even resemble like anything of the teams of the past. And the embarrassments of the past and the dysfunctions are not there anymore. And 5 years ago, we include this year, when a man by the name of Chris Grier took over, one of the declarations he made was that the dysfunction ends now. And it took a little bit because, unfortunately, Flo brought some to the dysfunction, and we still had a dysfunctional owner because he is no matter how much he spends, he doesn't do the right things with his mouth and his actions at times. With his wallet, yes, but not his IQ. And so now you finally got those guys out of the way, and you've got Bruce Beal permanently. You got that moron permanently out of the way, and that's a good thing. And it looks like Stephen Ross has finally taken a back seat and shut the hell up. So I'd like to give Chris Grier our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night because he's the guy that put together a great personnel staff. He's the guy that checked his ego at the door and said, I'd love to bring Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie here. Those guys are freaking studs, and they could be their own GMs. So that makes us to have 3 GMs on this team. That's what they have, by the way. Marvin Allen is his own GM, and so is Reggie McKenzie. Those men are excellent at what they do, and Chris Greer did not have an ego about it, and he brought him on. And he doesn't have an ego where he delegates authority and he gives people the opportunity to grow. Opportunities that weren't given to him nearly as smoothly or as naturally as it should be. He's had to earn everything. Earn it way too much, by the way. He should have had this opportunity years ago. It is what it is. But he's found the quarterback. He's found the head coach. The talent is deeper than it's ever been. And one of the biggest impacts that they've made, besides finding the coach and the quarterback, of course, that's important, and some of the frontline stars and all that. But one of the things that I love about what Chris Greer has done along with his staff is the backups this year. It's the best depth I have ever seen the Miami Dolphins have. And I have never seen backups come in often on offense and defense and help this team out and not miss a beat. And to that, I say, Chris Greer, you, sir, are our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. We love talking about Alan Blanco and the great people there at 3A Graphics. If your company, your club, your school, maybe you need new uniforms, maybe you need some T-shirts, hats, whatever it is you want to do, call Alan Blanco at 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443. They're in Hialeah, custom printing and embroidery. Last night, number 20, Illinois defeated number 11, FAU, 98-89. Vladislav Golden, 23 points, 4 rebounds. John L. Davis, man. John L. Davis played 37 minutes last night. I was watching the game, and unfortunately, towards the end, Illinois was able to pull away. He had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. FAU tried, man. I got to give Illinois credit. It is what it is, but hey, man, we're still behind the Owls. Keep it going, boys. Tonight at 7:00, University of Miami, number 19 in the country at 6-1. We'll take on Long Island, who's 1-6 on the ACC network. And Miami is favored by 27.5. The over and under is 154.5. At 7:00 on the ice here in our backyard at Amerant Bank Arena, it is the Dallas Stars visiting your Florida Panthers, and the Panthers are favored by 1.5. Over and under is 6. In basketball, the Miami Heat at 7:40 will visit the Raptors. And the Raptors are favored by 3. Over and under is 218. I already took the Heat plus 3. I like the Heat as a dog. And then what I'll do is I'll probably double up if they take a lead and it goes deeper and you give me 6, 7, 8 points. I'll start doubling up my bet, and then hopefully they'll keep it tight or win this game. We'll see. And then, of course, 8:15 on Monday night. So we get Sunday off. I'll be traveling on Sunday, coming back from Las Vegas. We leave to Vegas tomorrow night. We'll be there for U2 at the Sphere on Friday and Saturday. If you can, follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. Also on Instagram or on Threads at Big O Radio Show. You can follow us there, and we'll have videos. We'll be on the floor, actually, for the 2 nights. So that's going to be a really cool thing. I was in the Section 200 for the first night. So this will be my second and third night seeing U2 at the Sphere. Can't wait for that, man. But anyway, Dolphins on Monday night, favored by 13. Over and under is 47.5. Miami is minus 800 on the money line, and the Titans are plus 550 on the money line. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. All right. Seen this movie a bunch. Control Their Own Destiny is an anthem to the Miami Dolphins. LOL. Yes, but this is a different team, bro. This team is much better than those teams of the past. So that's where, Pat, you can be. Foster says he didn't get the job. And you're surprised with what? Big O, do you think JPP will make it in the field, or is he just an insurance policy? Oh, no, he's going to help. No, he will be used. Yes, I think he's already in football shape. I think he'll play this week a little bit, especially if there's a blowout in the second half. You got to start using him. Let him make mistakes. Let him figure things out. Okay. Something there came across the wire, but not important. So let's talk a little. You know what? Give me a 1 minute break here, top of the hour, and let's get to let's talk Hard Knocks. All right. Yeah, it took me to hour 3, but let's get to Hard Knocks now, and let's talk about some of the stuff I saw last night. I'll share with some of the things I saw and how I interpret some of this stuff. Let's talk a little Dolphins and Hard Knocks to start off hour number 3 next.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Attention all property managers, condo associations, and homeowners. Get ready for the event of the year, South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA Expo. And guess who will be there? Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions, bringing their expertise right to you. Visit our arbor display booth and don't miss the chance to witness our skilled team demonstrating proper tree trimming techniques using our state-of-the-art electric saws. Wow. We know the importance of maintaining healthy and beautiful trees, and our experts will be able to answer all your questions and provide valuable tips. So mark your calendars for December 7th from 10 to 4 at the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale. Come meet the Cutter's Edge team and discover how we can elevate your property's curb appeal. Come look for Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions at South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA Expo, December 7th. More info at cuttersedgepro.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, all right, ready to rock and roll. Hour number 3 of the program. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Thank you all out there. Yes, ready to go. Top Gun Indoor Range. By the way, we're going to be broadcasting live at Top Gun Indoor Range next week on the 15th, I believe, right? I want to say the 15th. Yes. So we'll be there at 12015 Southwest 114th Place, right off of the Turnpike and 120th, basically. There's a little strip shopping center there. Odyssey Arcade is there, one of my favorite places in the world, because it has a lot of the old classic games. You know, you can go play Galaga and Space Invaders and all kinds of shit there. And they have, like, PC games, too. This is not a spot for them, but it's kind of, you know, anyway. But Top Gun Indoor Range is right behind them, okay? And so we're going to be broadcasting there on the 15th next week, next Wednesday. So please come by and join us. We're going to set up a shooting competition in January. We're going to have prizes and giveaways and all that. So come on over, bring your gun, buy one, whatever, and we'll have some fun, and we'll have a good time. And they do have, by the way, they have classes for the ladies. And I think it's very important to have self-defense classes nowadays for women. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, you know, crazy world we live in, man, you all need to be as protected as possible. So they have them in Spanish too, English or Spanish. So call the great folks at Top Gun. Largest indoor gun range in Dade County. They're the only ones with an archery, also in Dade County. So it's actually pretty cool. I'm gonna start doing some archery with my daughter and my wife. They want to start doing the archery stuff, so it's actually pretty cool, indoor archery. Not easy, by the way. Tried it. It's not easy. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm from Miami, been in Phoenix since February. If the Dolphins make it to the Super Bowl, I might have to make that 4-hour drive to Vegas. Black boy, you better get your ass to Vegas. Okay? You're always on here, always supporting us strong. I want to meet you. All right, dude? So I want to meet as many of you out there that support our platform. So listen, even if you can't get a ticket to get into the game itself, okay, we'll have a party at Tommy Rockers, which is a Dolphins bar in Vegas, literally right off of the Strip, okay? So it's really right there. It's right next to Caesars. It's close to Caesars and the Rio. You know, it's like a rock's throw from those two places. And you know, the Dolphin Nation is going to get there. So I've already met a lot of Dolphin fans. You know, Sean and I have done several broadcasts there already. So, you know, let's do it, man. Even if especially a dude like you, look, I get it if you live in North Carolina or Florida or whatever, to drive over to Vegas just to be there for that, even if you can't get in, it might be a little much. But if I'm living in California or Vegas or Washington, I'm in that area, I'll drive to Vegas, dude, for that experience. Because, you know, all of us Dolphin fans are going to be there. So let's do it, man. Make the drive, Black Boy, man. Come on over, dude. All of you make it. If you never, this might be the only time. I hope it's not. I hope they go 10 more times after this. But it's been so long. Do not allow this opportunity. Okay? It's kind of like what I've been telling people about what's going on with crypto. Do not allow this opportunity to slip past your hands, because there are moments in time, the .com and, you know, there are moments in history, gold rush, whatever, that have happened at times where there are moments where people get an opportunity to invest and take advantage. This is one of them with crypto. This is one of those moments in the infancy stages of it that if you get in early, you're going to enjoy some profits, right? Well, same thing here, man. You got to get in early on this one, because we don't know what's going to happen after. So if the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl, do whatever it takes to get there.
Do whatever it takes. I'm 21, so I wasn't around for the glory days, and I got to tell you, I don't know how to feel about this winning. It's weird. All I can tell you, Hunter Butler, don't treat this team like the teams of the past, because you're too young, and some of you keep looking at it like, oh, I was disappointed a couple years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Don't compare any of these teams to that. That's an insult to this team, an absolute insult. Chef Jew says, as a season ticket holder, I'm going to be at the divisional round and AFC championship games. I'm trying to make it to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, even if I can see it live once in a lifetime. Exactly. Black Boy says, I know, Big O. That will be great. It will be phenomenal, dude. It'll be so awesome. And then to be with other Dolphin fans celebrating, doesn't get better than that. My friend went to Tommy Rocker's. He did not have fun because there were Buffalo fans. Well, I got to tell you, Sean, it's been pro Dolphins every time we go, right? I mean, there's no other fans that are getting in our way when I do it. So I don't know. Maybe he went for something, but I'm telling you. Oh, wait a minute. But even that game, right? I think it was we've had just pro Dolphins all the way, right?
I think there was some Raiders fans in the back, but I don't think there was any. Oh no, you know what? There was the one Buffalo fan sitting with a group of Dolphins, but I mean, it was pro Dolphins.
Yeah, dude. Please,
the only thing that was bad was the performance.
Right. The performance sucked, but we were pro. It was all Dolphins that day.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Your friend is a whiner because we dominated that bar. Dolphin fans dominate that bar in Vegas. At least every time I've gone, and every time I've done
Buffalo Bills fan.
I've done what, 5 shows there now? 5 shows there, and it's been all pro. I've done 2 with you, right, Sean?
No, I've been there for every one, I think.
Oh, you did the draft with me also. That's right.
Yeah, we did drafts in the games, yeah.
Yeah, 5, all 5, and it's been pro Dolphins.
Yeah.
All of it been pro Dolphins. And we've done it 5 times there. Dominating the Dolphin fans there. I had a great time. I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is maybe he was friends with that Bills fan, and so since they had to sit together, of course she was probably, I think it was a female also that was just rubbing it in on some of the fans, but she wasn't like boisterous and blowing it to everybody. So I mean, I don't know.
She was the one that would clap every time they would score, but
that was it. Yeah, that was all she did. She wasn't rubbing it in our faces or anything, but
super cool.
Yeah.
But what do you expect her to do? She's a Bills fan. Of course she's going to be celebrating, bro. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. That's her moment in the sun. Now it's our turn, and hopefully they'll be able to, get it going. The parade is going to be crazy when they win the Super Bowl. Everyone enjoy it to the fullest. Exactly. That's the most important part of it, is enjoy all of this, is what I've been trying to tell you since the offseason. Don't let these idiots get you down and write negative shit. And now you got all this stupid shit. They're worried about a cap next year. Bro, who gives a shit about any of that? Why do you want to create negativity right now? And what is nothing about 24 is important right now. Nothing. The only thing that's important is the Tennessee Titans. And then next week it's the Ravens, and then so on and so forth. That's the only thing important. But when the media is already going into next year to talk about something that is probably not going to happen, it just shows you the way they're wired and the way they got to try to sell clicks and views and all that bullshit. Because this is not the time to throw that stuff out there. Plus, it's not accurate, by the way. That's the worst part about it. It wasn't even accurate. Because you don't even take into account that you have an exceptional front office that knows how to replace players. But, why include that? Because that would be positive. No, how much edgier can we make the story? That's what it's all about. Anyway, had a good day yesterday. We found out that Jerome Baker will not go on the IR with the MCL injury. So that's good. He'll take up a roster spot and you'll wait. Now, the part that I'm excited about and intrigued is what happens now in his absence. Does Cam Good get more playing time? Does he grow? Do we find out that we got a player in Cam Good? I've been a Cam Good guy from the get-go. And I know he's been more about special teams, but hopefully maybe he gets something. I don't know if Channing Tindall will do anything. But Channing, if you ever thought about waking up and the light going on, now's the time, young man. And then you got JPP, who's also going to help you. So how will Fangio handle all of this? Who will he move around at times? I just hope you keep AVG on the outside. Okay? Just like his wife says, Samantha, right? I think it is. Samantha, I like him playing on the outside. He always makes plays. And she's right. All right? The wife is right. That was good. That was good yesterday. But I'm intrigued to see, because backups have done so well this year. Backups at running back, backups at offensive line, backups at defensive back. So I'm intrigued. Backups at pass rusher. Let's see what happens. It's happening all over, right? It's what I told you. I'm not used to this as Dolphin fans. We're not used to backups coming in on offense and defense and constantly helping out. We're used to it like being a drop-off that oh my God, that backup can't even do anything. That's what we're used to. So I'm really looking forward to what are the options, and does anybody else become a shining star out of this? Can Cam Good or Tindall do something here? Intrigued. ESPN International reported that the Dolphins could open next year in Brazil. They even mentioned, I think, Kansas City. Now, Miami has the rights to Brazil. Okay? They also share rights in England and Spain with other teams. That's where this story came from. Whether it's true or not, again, who gives a shit? Live it now. Okay? If it happens, then we'll talk about it. We'll deal with it. Some of you will travel to see it. I might be one of them that might be joining you for that. Watching Andrew Van Ginkel and the family last night on Hard Knocks, it was great, man. It was great because this young man has he's only done one thing, made plays. He's only done one thing, shined every time he got an opportunity. And yet somehow he didn't get what he deserved, which was more playing time. Don't know why, can't explain it with the other coaches, but I'm glad that Fangio saw in him what I thought he was from the get-go, a playmaker, a guy that has a nose for the ball, shit that you just can't teach. And I thought it was outstanding to show him, the family. I love that. They were high school sweethearts. She's been with them through thick and thin. They got their family. She's out there watching with the friends and all that. I just, you want to see good things happen to good people, right? And Andrew Van Ginkel just looks like the kind of guy you want to root for all the time, and you definitely want him on your team. Family guy, hard worker, blue collar guy, and play effing maker. And it's impressive, dude, the way that guy plays and how he always makes plays. So I thought that was really cool to focus on the Van Ginkels well-deserved focus. And don't worry, Dolphin fans, he will be re-signed here. He's not going anywhere. Don't worry. Okay, that's their pick. They're going to want to keep their pick, and letting him go won't help you that much either, compensatory-wise, because all you're going to do is get a late pick, and that's not worth it. So you want to keep him, okay? McDaniel, talking about the 8-3, let's go chasing 9-3 and all that. I love that part too. No big deal about it, but it's just I love the way he communicates with his guys, and he tells them what he wants, and he explains it thoroughly to them. And that's what I like about it, because they know where he's coming from, and then sometimes he will enlighten where they're coming from, and they may not even realize it, which is actually really cool. And that's the good thing about having a smart coach who knows how to use psychology in order to get the best out of people, and use positive psychology and positive reinforcement in a way of communicating. So that was great. And obviously they went out and got 9-3. So that was good. Wes Welker looking at the man coverage and saying, man, if we see man coverage, it's like stealing. That was Wes Welker was a cocky player when he was a player. Okay. Tough son of a bitch, fearless. Okay. He played the slot, and he was never, ever worried about whatever hit he took. In fact, I got to tell you, the way I ended watching his career was with grave concern, because he was taking on too many concussions for a small guy. Okay. Maybe to a certain extent, I still worry about the guy in long term. You know what I'm saying? But man, that is one tough hombre, the way he played. And so he had that confidence, that cockiness, and you could tell that it's going to translate to his players too, and he's telling him, man, if we see that man coverage, it's like stealing money. And sure enough, there it goes. There it goes. That was good. That was good. And the Tyreek situation was what the bomb, I thought, was also a cool thing, because let's see if this way. Let's see if I turn. So I'm noticing you can't see the shield. It's the glare. There we go. No? Let me see. Did I fix it? There we go. That's even better. Anyway, it was nice to see it. Tyreek did not really notice that Tua threw the ball the right way. And then after showing the film, but I love that Tyreek also was brutally honest about it too. And he's saying, "Oh man, I'm going to admit when I'm wrong, and you're right," and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It was a great episode again yesterday. It showed Miami in a perfect light, and it just continues to sell what we've been talking about for a while, that this is going to be one of the destinations that people are going to want to be a part of. That's all. Welton Rayom. Let me tell you about Welton Rayom. We love talking. I was hanging out with Jeff and Dan yesterday, actually. 954-966-4646. And they do it all here in South Florida, folks. If you got some issues with bankruptcy, and I know a lot of people have been going into their credit cards, 401k plans, and all that since the pandemic, and things have not been easy for us for several years now. If you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, please call Welton Rayom. They can help you out. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. 954-966-4646. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you're not sure that you have a case, still pick up the phone. The consultation's completely free. Jeff will listen to your story, and then he will explain to you, yes, you have a case. This is what you need to do. No, you don't have a case. Unfortunately, you can't do this, this, and this. He will explain it to you thoroughly. You know how Mike McDaniel explains to his players? Same way, man. That is Jeff Welt right there getting it done. 954-966-4646. Welt and Rayom. Oh, let's go with a little music history and birthdays today. Why don't we? let's do that. I did a little music stuff earlier. But we got to do let's start off with the birthdays today on December 6th, right? Giannis Antetokounmpo is 29 years old today. Man, a lot of YouTube stars. Wow, this is bad. Abby Bergman, TV actress, 17. I don't even know who she is, but it says actress, so I'll throw it out there. What the hell? Somebody may know who she is. Debbie Rowe is 65. Johnny Manziel is 31. Says pop singer Wesley Stromberg is 30 from the trio Emblem 3. I have no idea who that is, but Wesley Stromberg is 30. Rachel Daly, soccer player, is 32. Princess Sophia, the Duchess, is 39. Randy Rhodes, there we go. Finally have a great name here. Born in 1956. We lost him in 1982, unfortunately. Andrew Cuomo is 66. And Judd Apatow, film producer, is 56. There you go. Those are somewhat famous birthdays today in entertainment. Somewhat. It's kind of a weak list today. In 1969, a little music history for you on December 6th. The Rolling Stones played their infamous gig at Altamont Speedway, Northern California. At the show, a fan was stabbed to death by the Hells Angels, who had been hired to police the event. Meanwhile, another man drowned. 2 were killed in a hit-and-run accident, and 2 babies were born. It's a hell of a concert. That was a hell of a concert at Altamont Speedway. In 75, Paul Simon went to number 1 with Still Crazy After All These Years, his first solo record to top the charts. In 88, Roy Orbison died from cardiac arrest in Madison, Tennessee. He was 52. In 94, Bush released their classic album, 16 Stone, which featured hits like Glycerin and Come Down. In 97, Metallica had the number 1 album in the country with Reload. In 2005, Korn released their 7th album, See You on the Other Side. It was the band's first without longtime guitarist Brian Head Welch. In 2006, Incubus had the number 1 album in the country with Like Grenades, their first record to top the charts. And there you go. Now you've got what happened in Musica history. By the way, the Red Hot Chili Peppers have extended their North American tour. February 17th, they'll be in Lincoln, California. They'll be in Salt Lake on June 5th. West Palm Beach, June 18th. Tampa, June 21st. Raleigh, June 26th. Buffalo, July 12th. St. Louis, July 30th, and many other dates. You could check it out, but I figured I'd tell some of you out there some of the dates at least. That way you have an idea if you want to go and check it out. Right. Oh, man. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Aren't you happy that you don't have the dysfunction that's going on with the Jets right now? Because Robert Saleh is doing some stupid shit here now, because apparently talking to Joe Benigno, one of the hosts there in New York, he's been there forever. And I don't understand. The guy's been in the business a long time, and he's ratting out his source, which makes no sense. And it ends up putting Robert Saleh in a difficult position. He went on Boomer, and Boomer was ripping into into Joe Benigno, and so was Boomer's co-host. I forgot who his co-host is. I don't know. I don't listen to shows, but I saw it I saw the story, and they were tagged and all that kind of stuff. And Benigno, the worst thing that he did was, well, besides exposing that Robert Saleh communicates with him, is then trying to backtrack what Saleh was trying to say to him, and that he misinterpreted what Saleh was talking about with Zach Wilson, which he didn't, about, you should start Zach. And it's like, are you kidding? And all that. And so this has become a mess. I'm not sure how Robert Saleh survives any of this. And players are not going to trust the head coach now from here on out. And if somehow or another Aaron Rodgers gets his way and gets Nathaniel Hackett to become the head coach again, this time for the Jets, I'm telling you, man, I was never nervous about the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. With Miami secondary, I never feared it. I don't fear Rodgers, and I don't fear their wide receiving corps, to be quite honest. Okay? It's not something that I was worried about. So full tilt, Aaron healthy and everything, Miami beats the Jets anyway. But all that's happening now is this situation is getting worse with the offensive line issues, where I think personally Aaron Rodgers does more harm than good with him being kind of the focal point of the team when he's not even playing. And even his presence, I don't think helps the other quarterbacks, especially Zach Wilson. And the fact that he is kind of acting like Zach Wilson's left tackle and protector is kind of weak too, on top of all of that. And I know he's trying to defend Zach and trying to defend the story with the anonymous sources. And listen, folks, anonymous sources will never stop. It's the only way you're going to get the real stories to come out. That's it. It's the way it is. Because most of us in the business, we're not going to reveal our sources. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't help us revealing our sources. So we're not publicly going to stand out here and say, well, Don Shula tells me everything. Pat Riley calls me, and he's the one that told me that they would trade him. So I don't know why they didn't trade him. By the way, none of that is true. Okay, just in case if you just joined in or whatever. But those are examples. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to rat out the person that gives you the information? That doesn't make any sense. I've been doing this for 30 years. I got plenty of people that give me information. I can't rat them out. That doesn't, how does that help me? Anybody tell you locally what happened with Shaq? No, right? Only this show. Only this show. We told you the story yesterday. Nobody else had it. So it's just, but what are you going to do? You're going to start ratting out your sources? That doesn't make any sense. Benigno's a fucking moron, dude. If I'm FAN, I would fire him, actually. That's what I would do. I know he's been there forever, but he deserves to get fired. He has no business being on the air doing that kind of shit. Now they won't trust you at that station. Now it's going to hurt your station. You need to fire him. And by the way, he won't be trusted anymore. Nobody in any organization is going to give him any more information at all. Did he need it for his ego or something? I'm not exactly sure. Hasn't that guy been on the air for like 40 years there? What do you need to prove or whatever? I don't understand that. That one, I'm still trying to figure that one out. Where does he benefit from that? Because that doesn't help you at all. You've been at this long enough. What do you need to prove, dude? It's like, when some of you tell me, when some of you tell me, oh, I miss you on QAM, and I'm like, why? Why would I want to be on QAM? That doesn't make any sense. And my ego doesn't need it or something. Like, I don't look at radio like you've made it, and because I'm doing daily YouTube and podcasting, I haven't. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know more about the Dolphins and break more stories than everyone at QAM combined their entire lifetimes. Okay? In fact, everyone that's worked at QAM for the last 10 years combined, I've broken more stories than all of them combined. So there's nothing to that. So I don't know why Joe would do something so stupid. You've been at it. What do you need? What do you need to stroke your own ego for? Don't people know you already? Don't they know you might know your stuff? I don't follow the guy. I don't know because I don't follow New York sports. I don't give a shit about New York sports. But I've heard the name forever. Why would you need to do that? That part I don't understand. West Palm Beach show, we ride and oh. There you go. We'll see you, Chad. Doing their best radio attempt of Hardknocks, trying to compete for news. But that's not news. That's you do the news. Don't trash your coach that gives you this. Man, Salah's calling you, texting you, and you're going to throw him under the bus? How stupid can you be? He must be fired. I don't like people losing their jobs, but something like that, you got to fire him. You got to fire him. It's going to kill your station. It's going to hurt your station big time. The Jets are so dysfunctional. It's crazy to think we were that dysfunctional not very long ago. Thank God. Yep. Jay reminds everybody to smash that like button. Thank you, sir. And hit that notification bell, please. Jets staying in character, so dysfunctional and messed up. It's great entertainment. It's true. It's true. Stupid has no age limit. Benigno is the poster child of it. Yeah, I mean, king size stupid. Lenny says, I'm so glad you're not at QAM, Big O. We wouldn't have 13. We would have had 13 minutes of commercials and not enough content in between. So I'm glad you're here. Yeah, no. I talk hours straight. Krillian says, I've been hyping AVG for years now and was pissed when I heard he might go to New England. Super athletic, high football IQ, bona fide playmaker. Having said that, with those last few games with Jalen Phillips, wow. I know. I'm glad you don't have to give weather reports and traffic alerts on QAM. Yeah, tell me about that. Greg Giannotti is Boomer's co-host. Joe B has been with the fans since the mid-90s. Retired in 21, but came back doing some spot work on FAN. He's a big Jets fan and major Finn hater. I'm a big Dolphins fan. Huge Dolphins fan. Openly admit it. Heat, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, Canes, FIU, FAU. I'm a Nova. I'm a South Florida guy through and through, and I'll never hide that fact. And I've had coaches, front office, players, owners talking to me and still do. And I would never, ever rat out any of my people that talk to me. I get insight you guys know that. If you listen to the show, I give you guys stuff all the time that you don't get anywhere, dude. All the effing time. I'm going to start giving you who's telling me? How stupid is that, dude? That's ridiculous. I'm not as useful to you if I start doing that, because then I lose all my sources. I'm never going to be able to tell
Anything? Like, let's have some fun. So I break the story that the Dolphins are leaving QAM and going to Clear Channel, okay, or iHeart, whatever it's called now. Nobody knows about this. Nobody at QAM knows about this. Nobody at iHeart knows about this. So I break it, right? And Castronovo, Paul Castronovo, Paul's a fucking stud in that company. Like, Paul is, I don't know, one of the 3-4 most important hosts in that entire cluster, right? Like, that's a dude that you've got to, take care of in that building, correct? So he reaches out to me because I've known Paul forever. I used to do sports updates for him back in the day when I was really young. And so he goes, "Hey, bro, well, what's up with this?" And I go, "Well, you guys got the Dolphins now." And he goes, "Let me call you back." This is Paul Castronovo. Okay? He's calling the people above him. Which, these are the people that cut those deals. And they're telling him, no, we don't know anything about it. And they knew they were just lying to Paul. Calls me back, bro. They don't know anything about it. I go, trust me, it happened already. It'll be announced. It'll be announced. What am I any good to you guys if I start telling you who's giving me that information? How does that help me? Messi's coming for sure. Why am I going to tell you who's telling me who's coming? Flo's going to get fired. Why am I going to tell you who's telling me that? Doesn't make any sense. So when you have all kinds of sources, why would you, expose the sources? Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't help me. Doesn't help Sean. Doesn't help this platform. Joe's a fucking idiot. He ruined it for himself. Others won't trust him now. Now the team won't trust the station. Right? And Boomer did the right thing. He's got to distance himself from this shit. He's got to get all that off of him. He's got to make sure that, hey, I have nothing to do, which I'm sure he'll be fine. But that's just dumb, dude. Dumb. How do you give away information? How do you tell people where you're getting the information from? Makes no sense. None at all. That's suicide, man. That's career suicide right there. But then again, you just told me he was semi-retired, right? He retired and then came back and doing part. He doesn't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, he really doesn't care. Maybe he doesn't even need the money. I don't know. But king-size stupidity. And I hope he's honest enough with himself to say, wow, that was just dumb on my part. I don't know if your ordinary Dolphin fan realizes how good our defense is getting at understanding the scheme we're trying to put in and that it's going to be the key in the playoffs. I think they're starting to see that now, but you're right. It's becoming really special. That's why I'm convinced that this team, with these tough games coming up, especially the Bills one, I'm convinced they will win those games now. They have now the ingredients they didn't have before. The balance and the understanding. They're ready to go. Nikolai says, Big O, my dad thinks Tyreek is only reason we're winning. He doesn't understand how good Tua actually is with anticipation, eye manipulation. The guy's a stud. Well, he was probably one of those Tua disbelievers, and so he's wrong, and so he hasn't gotten off his wrong horse. Maybe Joe B., the radio host in New York, is getting ready to retire, trying to go out with a bang. That's not, Drago, that's not the bang you want to go out with. That's not a bang you want to go out with, dude. No. That's not good, dude. Not in our business. Okay? Fan shit,
Oh, I'm glad you exposed a Salah guy or whatever, this, that. You know, whatever. That's stupid shit. Dumb. Big O, you said Flores was going to get fired way before your source told you? Yes, of course. Way before my source told me. I first guessed it, and then my source told me. Yes, Herman. That makes all the sense in the world. Stop smoking or drinking at this time, Herman, please. And if you're smoking some really bad stuff. Clearly, because it's messing with your mind. True Fin Fan says, you see where I don't listen to anyone else? You think national media has the connections Big O does? Hell, I challenge that idea that even the guys working and reporting on the Dolphins don't. The guys that cover the beat do an excellent job. Am I more connected than most of the people that have ever been on the beat in the last 30 years? Yeah. But then again, if you're only on the beat for a couple of years and then you're moving on, meanwhile, I'm here decade in and decade out. How are you going to have an advantage on me, dude? Nobody's going to have an advantage on me because they don't even have an understanding of this franchise like I do from beginning to end. So anybody that's new comes in, they have to even learn about the history of the team, and they won't learn. I lived the history of the team. That's the difference. That's why most beat people can't compete with me because they're not from here and they didn't grow up with the team. Or if they're too young, they only grew up with a portion of the team. I grew up with the whole goddamn thing. From beginning to end. I've lived it all. I've watched it all. And now I've covered it for 33 years. I've experienced it. So it's most beat people are going to be at a major disadvantage with me. It's not a knock on them. It's just it's an unfortunate position that you were put in. You can't compete with somebody that has lived it. Can't. There's no way. And that's the difference. That's what we add on this show, that only Joe Rose can come close. He's the only one that has lived it and has done it and all that stuff. It's the only guy in town. There's nobody else. There's no more Edwin Pope. There's no more Armando Salguero. There's no Poop's done it a little bit. Poop's been around for a while. That's one. But it's very, very little is left. Very little is left. Everybody else is kind of new to the game. Only been at it a couple years or only been at it in this millennium. That kind of stuff. So it's hard for any of those people to have the knowledge, understanding, and history of the Dolphins that I have. It's an impossible task pretty much for any new beat writer. I remember Big O talked about Ethereum when it was 500. I got it at 2,300. Damn, no, 900, not 500. I would love to take the credit for 500, but no. I talked about it when it went all the way down to 900 Pipe Man Slim. Let's be accurate, okay? Because that's as low as I have it, which is 900. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I appreciate all the work Everyday Fins Reporters does. I find myself on the other side of a lot of Perks takes and was wondering who seems to disagree with most, if that's something you're okay answering with. What beat writer I disagree with most? Omar, a lot. Omar has a lot of crazy takes. I love him to death. But when he was here, I tell him straight up, it made no sense. Probably Omar. Omar's probably the number one guy. because he comes up with some crazy stuff at times. Salary cap's not real. Shit like that is just Jay Ajayi's not the guy, and I'm like he's only played a couple games. He was injured, but he actually played well. Did you see? So I've had many of those examples with Omar. So it would probably be Omar. And that's the beauty of, you say a lot of crazy stuff, you're going to get a lot of traction. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing for him. Let's see. I'm surprising it wasn't Adam Beasley. Oh, you know what? Adam, well, I like Adam personally. He was as wrong as you could get about Tua Tagovailoa. And I pointed it out to him a few times over. The good thing about Adam is he's cool enough that when he's wrong, and he's already admitted it, so I've heard that. But I can't say that Beasley says all kinds of crazy shit, like Ben Volen. Ben Volen says a lot of crazy shit. Okay? That's a dude that does not have a good feel for the game at all. Just, we'll throw that one out there for you. Nice guy, but his opinions, see, there's something wrong in this business sometimes that, and this is where I don't necessarily make friends at times. Media will be afraid of saying something about another media member or an opinion or whatever it is, right? Because they're, afraid of, Example, some of our writers, when they came on, and there was the Jonathan Taylor story, or there was the Dalvin, it was the Dalvin Cook story, actually. Well, the thoughts of trading or whatever, and they mention other names, and I would say to them, they're full of shit. They're not trading for him. Well, I don't know, and then the writer backs off, and I'll tell you, they're full of shit. Whatever it is, whatever writer it is, whatever reporter, if I have the story and I have the insight and they're trying to say something different, I'm going to say, I call bullshit. Okay? But that's like something that you're worried about. I'm not worried, dude. I don't work in the corporate world. I don't answer to anybody. So I don't care. And if I hurt your feelings, you know what, dude? Too effing bad. You don't like it? You can come at me if you want. Don't care. Just be prepared. I'm going to come back. That's all. So that's the way I look at it. So I don't care. So if I think you're a media member, you're full of shit, I'm going to tell you you're full of shit. Yes, sir, Sean.
Speaking of full of shit, the Jets will start QB Zach Wilson on Sunday night against the Texans. Coach Robert Saleh announced. Wilson told Saleh on Monday he wants the ball, and Saleh is giving it back to the former number 2 overall pick. This is being reported by Tom Pelissero.
All right. Yeah, his agent got to him and said, yo, you better take this job and you better attack it because this is not good. This is not going to help us in free agency in the offseason. So, yeah, that's what happened there. All right, we are out of here. We thank Matt Verderame. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley that knows how to get it done every single day and master this entire platform. We thank all of you that tuned in, sent in a super chat. No Cash App or Venmo lately. No Bitcoin lately. It's been going up too high. It's funny. Anyway, thank you all out there. Remember, you can make, whenever you're listening to the show, a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which, by the way, are we back over 44 or what's the deal? before I sign out. 43,886. So hanging around that 44. Oh, 44,083. It just changed. It's like it's a symbiotic relationship that we've got going on here. Bitcoin and the Big O Show. That's just, did you see that? It said, no. O's checking us out. We better pop over to 44. And remember to vote here before you get out on our poll question. Put it up there, Sean. Where is Bitcoin going to end by midnight tonight? 45, 46, settle at 44, down to 43. Make sure you place a vote there. We'll see you all tomorrow at Hialeah Park. Oh, by the way, I think it'll be on at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be on a little earlier because I've got to leave earlier because I've got to go to Vegas. Vegas, baby. Vegas, baby. We're going to Vegas. Vegas. You too. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Same time, same place, same bat channel.